My name is Jason Fladman, co-founder and creator of Rapid Crush Inc. And our goal and our purpose at Rapid Crush is to find the very best things that we possibly can to help people when it comes to their finances. And we've been on the hunt for 12 years now. And I think we found the best thing that we've ever found in our life. And that is what you're about to discover and see here today. This wasn't our creation. It was a friend of ours who we have now worked with actually for about a dozen years. We go that far back with this individual. His name is Dan Hollings, or as I like to call him, Dan, the man with the plan Hollings. He is into crypto, but not into the way that most people think. If you're reading the headlines right now as I speak, they're not black and white. They're blood red with blood dripping off of them. Markets are correcting at 50% or more. You're going to see that today too, because nobody is immune to that. Everybody right now is in a weird position in crypto. Crypto itself is in a weird position. Is the world in a weird position? My friend, the world is in a very strange position. But there's a couple things you can do. One is you can freak out and panic. I don't recommend that. Two is you could ignore it and pretend everything is good. You ever seen that meme where the dog is sitting there drinking his coffee and the fire's all around him and he say, it's okay, it's okay, okay. I don't recommend that either. Or three, you can have a plan because there is always opportunity. Would you agree with that? In any situation, there is always opportunity. There's always a plan that can work and be effective for you. And that's what we're here today to posit to you as potentially the plan when it comes to what is still the single greatest performing asset class that we've seen in the last 12 years. But that's not for me to show. That's for Dan to show. And with that said, I'm going to hand it over to you. Dan Hollings, the floor is yours, my friend.
Hey, guys, and thanks so much, Jason. I do want you to sit back and be, rather casual today, because I am certainly here to just talk to you about something that has changed my life. It's changed the lives of many people. But at the same time, people in this marketplace, it's had its challenges. And the key to doing well at crypto is really what Jason mentioned, and that is having a plan. And I certainly didn't have one when I started. I got into crypto back, 2017. There was a bull run back then that was amazing. Crypto went up to 20,000. Some of you may remember that. And I got in then. Come 2018, the markets decided to go the other way. And just as it has been going recently, back in 2018, it did much the same. So I've been in this rodeo or this roller coaster ride before, and you're going to find out something very, very interesting. The truth is, and I'll just kind of give you the punchline straight up, you could not possibly have picked a better time to be here today and listening to what we're going to be talking about. Because if you were at a store and they made a big announcement, hey, sell over on aisle 9, everything is half price or more, what would you do? Think about it. Would you run to aisle 9, especially if it was something you were really interested in? Or would you run out the door? I think we all would run to aisle 9. Well, here we are. We're on aisle 9 today. And this is perhaps the best time I have ever seen in my lifetime to get involved in crypto, but only if you do it right, if you do it safe, and if you do it with a plan. So I'm just going to talk to you today. I'm going to talk to you about a little bit about my story so you can understand why we're here. I'm going to share with you the tremendous success that we've had worldwide over the last year since we've been sharing this. And then I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing and how I've built the wealth that I'm now enjoying, and exactly how I'm handling the market at this time. I'm going to do something really super special, and that is, in fact, this is something I don't think anybody, I mean, you can go out and look at YouTubers or whoever else is out there talking about crypto. I don't think anybody else would have the chutzpah to do what I'm going to do today. I'm going to take you in and show you actual live accounts of every single member that started with me back about a year ago. About a year ago, I had a very small group of people that paid in order to spend some one-on-one time with me. The amazing thing is that they are all still with me, still doing the plan. And I'm going to take you into their accounts live and actually show you how they're doing today. And I'm not going to hide anything. You're going to see red. You'll see some green too. meaning that you'll see some accounts that look like they're underwater. You'll see some that look better than others and what have you. You're just gonna see the real thing. You can't, cover up, people losing money. So I think it's really fair and honest to show you guys what it's like for people who've been doing this for a long time. So we'll do all of that. And then I will, without question, show you exactly what I'm doing and talk to you about how we've grown a family, a community here, and we're helping people to move into crypto and the blockchain. And just one little note before I share my screen. This is your future. Believe it or not, the blockchain will be underneath the foundation of almost everything that you do in the future. It's already greatly, down that road. Things like MasterCard and Visa already settle on the blockchain. Corporations have crypto and, are doing many things, with the blockchain. Countries are legalizing crypto. There's just a lot going on, and it's not going to go back to the way it was because the blockchain is fair, it's code, and it allows people, regardless of where you live, how much money you have, what your race is, your religion is. It doesn't, all of that just, is washed away so that we have a really fair and transparent system. That's the beauty, the magic, and the power of the blockchain. So what you're able to do, if you, have the savvy to see this, is you're able to get involved in something now so that you have an advantage. But eventually you're going to be here anyway. So I can help you to step that direction. I've figured out a few things. Some people say, hey, I've cracked the code. I feel like I have, but I'll let you decide. So let's jump here and take a look at what's going on. And we'll open it up at the end. We'll have some questions and a little fun along the way as well. So I'm going to share my screen. There we go. Great. So this thing I'm going to be talking about is the plan. And I want to start off with a little funny story because it was just yesterday that someone shared this with me, and it really applies to where we're at today. This is actually a story that came from a children's book written 45 years ago. Lady takes her husband to the airport. He's learning to be a skydiver. And they're having training sessions there. And so she drops him off at the training session there at the airport and goes home. Later in the day, she comes back. And as soon as she gets, in the terminal there where the pilot is, he comes running up. She could tell right away something was wrong just by looking at his face. And he says, ma'am, I got to tell you, we got some bad news. We also have some good news. And in fact, we have some extra bad news, and we've got some extra good news. And she's going, well, just tell me what's going on. He said, well, first of all, your husband, he fell out of the plane. Oh my God. Well, how is he? Well, I got some good news for you. Luckily, when he fell out of the plane, he had his parachute on. Oh, thank God. But I got some bad news for you. It didn't open. It didn't open before he hit the ground. Oh my God, but I got some good news. We hadn't taken off yet. You see, it's kind of funny, but that's really the way I feel with this market right now. If you're just getting into crypto, even though the market's falling, we haven't taken off yet. I mean, you haven't taken off because you are not yet fully engaged. Now, I know that some people already have some crypto and you've been dabbling in it, and maybe you're here today in order to maybe improve upon what you're doing. But a lot of the people that start with the plan are just starting brand new, and we become the safe haven place where you can come on board and feel like you have some honest information about how to do this. And that story kind of underlines where we're at. There's always going to be good news, bad news, good news, bad news. But at the end of the day, I think you're going to see that, hey, there's a lot of good news here, and we're going to play it safe. And indeed, that's really what that children's story illustrates. Now, the funny thing about what I'm going to show you is that it's going to allow you to continue to live life and if you're running a business now, or maybe you've got a job, or maybe you have things you want to do, vacation, spend time with your family, or what have you, you're going to be able to do it if you approach crypto in the way I'm doing it. There's a quote that was made by Malcolm Forbes. I read it many years ago. The hardest work of all is doing nothing. And I remember when I read this, Malcolm Forbes, the guy who did the magazines. I read this and I thought, man, I don't know what he's doing, but I'm busting my butt. I'm working hard, and yeah, I'm making a good living, but I was not doing nothing. I was burning my candle at both ends. And yet here he's saying that the hardest work of all is doing nothing. And I'm thinking, well, I'm willing to do that kind of hard work if you just show me how. Now, I really don't think that Malcolm Forbes was doing crypto back then, but he had figured out something that I only figured out recently, and you're going to hear about it today. What I will show you today does require, first and foremost, that you do nothing. And this isn't something like, make money while you're sleeping and all that. I'm really way beyond all of that kind of stuff. But it's just the fact that we're going to be able to use technology, artificial intelligence, software, whatever you want to call it, in order to do something that is really almost impossible for us as humans to do. But once we set up this software, these automations, it will do the work, and then we can live life. That's the thing that I'm enjoying most about how this works. So you're going to have to get good at doing nothing. And you're thinking, yeah, I can do that. But I got to tell you, I don't know what it is about people. They want to fiddle with stuff. They always think they can make it better if they keep touching it and adjusting this and what have you. That's not a great idea. And in fact, right now, a lot of our members, have accounts that are in the red, They're hodling. Now, you don't lose money when you're hodling. In fact, you've probably heard the word hodl. It means hold. And it's a very safe, it's a highly recommended approach to crypto. We do it in a special way, but a lot of our members are in a type of hodl mode. The interesting thing is that even while you're hodling, at many times, you can actually be making extra money. I'm talking about cash flow kind of money while you hodl. But it's like, we're going to look at a way that plays this game safe so that you can make money while you're hodling. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. I'm just going to lay it all out so you can see how this works. With a plan, you will have that opportunity to lay brick by brick, kind of like the yellow brick road, so that you can hopefully get yourself to, Emerald City. And I was able to do this in one of the worst markets of all. I'll show it to you in a minute, back in this period of time in 2018 that they now call the crypto winter. Far worse than even what we're looking at right now. And I was able to do that. And I can help you to see that if you replicate what I've already done, and my trading partner and others have already done, then you may be at the, the most opportune time ever in order to set in place those first bricks toward your road, your trip to Emerald City. So I have a little to-do list. I have a lot of fun doing this. You guys may notice it, but this is a to-do list. Here it is right here. It's actually a real thing. And there's nothing in my to-do list, because when it comes to crypto, I get up in the morning, first thing I do is nothing. When it comes to crypto, I didn't do anything this morning that had to do with crypto. I was getting my slides together so I could talk with you guys. Later today, I'll have lunch. I'll check my to-do list, and you know what? It'll say do nothing, and I will once again do nothing. And then before I go to bed each night, I mark off the last thing on my to-do list, which once again is nothing. It sounds like a joke, but that's it. In fact, it was so good when I discovered this that I kind of did a pact with my trading partner, Tony. I'll introduce you to Tony in a minute, that we would not share this with anyone. Yeah, I was being very selfish, but I've got some gray hairs now, and I figured, look, this is good enough. This is making me, the kind of money where I can live a rich life. And I figured, I'll just sit on my back porch, play my guitar, and not share this thing. But the cat did get out of the bag. You're going to see how that happened in a moment. I'll share that story. So again, sit back, relax. I think you're going to enjoy what you hear. We all know that crypto is highly speculative. And we also know that you can lose money here. In fact, I will absolutely guarantee you that if you do crypto, you're going to lose money along the way. Now, the way you try to plan it out is that when you make money, you make more than when you lose, and there is a formula for this. So I don't want you to think that there's any program out there, because there is not, where you're going to go in and just every single day you're going to make money, and it's just going to be, blissful. That's not the real world. I lose money. Everybody that does this sometimes does lose money. But as you will see, we play this in a way so that we win more than we lose. At least that's our goal. And when we do lose, this particular approach allows us to lose less than anyone else that's doing the same coin pairs. And that's a good thing. And when we make more, we make more. But understand that I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a tax expert. I'm not an attorney or anything like that. I'm just a guy that figured out something that's working. It's been working for me for about 4 years. It's been working for our members for about a year since we've been sharing it. There's ups and downs on all over the place, but that story is going to reveal itself here, and then you can decide if it's something for you. Do nothing doesn't mean that there's some trick here. There's no pyramid scheme. There's no, recruiting other people and all that junk. Do nothing just means that I'm going to show you how to set up software to do much of the work for you, and that while that's doing its work, you can live life. That's the part that's really nice. It's kind of the side benefit is that you can create something that has the potential to bring in cash flow, and at the same time give you time to do the other things, be it business, job, or life. That's all part of this. The plan is now in 130 countries. I'm proud of that. 130 countries. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of people all around the world that are now doing plans. And I get up each morning. I used to look at my account balances. That was fun for quite a while. But now what I do is I look at the stories that come in from our members. And even though times have been tough recently because the market has been down, and in fact, as Jason said, we're not talking about just crypto, all markets are down, and there's just lots of challenges in the world these days. I still get stories every single day of how the plan has changed their life. And that's really what drives me at this point. But here's how it started. Good friend of mine, Tony, he's my trading partner. This is Tony with his wife, Priya. We had been doing a lot of entrepreneurial ventures together, and he called me up one day and said, Dan, you should buy some Bitcoin. This is back in 2017, and I had no interest whatsoever. I was very busy. I had done some, stock and trading back, earlier on, and, it was okay, but, I didn't do all that well with the stock stuff, and honestly, just had no interest. And I told Tony, look, I'm not interested, but he just kept pestering me. I mean, every day he'd call me or Skype me or something. I eventually bought some Bitcoin. This is in, again, 2017. It was around $7,000 at the time, something like that. And I did it just to shut him up. It didn't work. He kept calling and he said, well, how's your Bitcoin doing? And every time I'd look, it was worth a little bit more. And, it did catch my attention. I mean, there was no way. And, you buy something for 7,000, you look at it the next day and it's 7,100. And you look at it the next day and it's 7,500. And then it's 10,000 and it's 12,000 and it's 18,000. And you start thinking you're like some kind of a genius. And I did fool myself. I happen to be a programmer. I happen to also know how to, I know how to read charts and all of that, even though I don't teach that because you don't need to know any of it. But I started fiddling with it, and I did start to think that I knew what I was doing. But boy, was I wrong, because come 2018, the market turned. It started going the wrong way, and I didn't know what to do, and it just started losing money. And now every day when I look at it, I had less money, and eventually I lost everything. I laugh now because it's a little funny, but at the time, it was miserable. It really was miserable. I didn't have any plan. I didn't know what I was doing. And I lost everything. Everything I had put into crypto, I had lost. I was really embarrassed. I'm some of you know my background. I mean, I'm the guy that helped put the book and movie, The Secret, out there. I was the strategist that worked with that. And we did, just millions and millions of sales. I've helped, small companies, big companies, entrepreneurs, Amazon sellers. I mean, my expertise is helping people to make money online. And here I was thinking that, I knew how to make money online with crypto, and I had just basically lost everything. So what I told everybody is that I was getting out of crypto, but in reality, I was still doing it. I scraped together a little bit more money. It was less than $10,000. And I just kept hacking at it. I just kept trying this and that and whatever. And suddenly I hit upon an idea. I shared it with Tony, and here's what the idea was. I said, what if we could make volatility our friend? Because volatility is something that is guaranteed in crypto. In other words, it is always volatile. It's the thing that scares everybody. It goes up and it goes down and it goes up and it goes down. But if you can make friends with that, somehow tap into that so that it is your friend, it could be helpful. Now, when I had the idea, it was like, okay, that sounds interesting, but how do you do that? Well, I had to go down to the microscopic level, kind of zoom in down to trades that were happening at the minute by minute level. Okay, rather than looking at the big ups and downs that were occurring day after day after day, I was looking at what's going on this minute, and then the next minute, and the next minute, and the next minute. And what I found is that there is volatility down there at that level as well. And I set up a way of trading at this microscopic level, at this minute by minute level, and it started making money with very minimal downside. And I told Tony, I said, hey, I think we're on to something. He said, hey, yeah, you're on to something. You're on to how to make enough money to buy a hamburger. And what he was meaning is, look, we're making nickels and we're making dimes and pennies and quarters. It wasn't a lot of money. It was pocket change. It was like vending machine money, but it was steady. Every minute there was a little bit of money coming in. And we could see that it had potential, but we didn't know if it could be scaled up to become something worthwhile. Now, I'm going to show you lots of facts and lots of information here to substantiate everything that you're hearing. But let me continue with the story. So we figured out ways to do this so that we could get a lot of vending machine coming in, a lot of pocket change coming in. And it got so good that that's when I told Tony what I told you earlier. I said, Tony, let's not share this thing. I mean, why get into just complicating our lives when we can just continue to do this and we'll both be happy campers? And he agreed. And it stayed pretty much a secret for well over a year. And then all of a sudden, Elaine called. The cat was out of the bag. I'm telling you, you guys don't know Elaine. You will get to know her. In fact, her, Tony, and everyone that I'm about to meet with you, they are now with the plan. They're here on the call this very moment. And they are all experts at the plan, and they are all here to help you. They help our members on a day-by-day basis with everything that you need in order to do this successfully. In fact, we have a total of over 50 people, can you believe that, in our support that will help you day after day after day. In fact, we respond within an hour usually to any time you write in, and with expertise. Not just some people saying, hey, thanks for your email, we'll get back to you next week. We will get back to you and help you with any questions that you have. So anyway, here's the story. Elaine calls and she says, Dan, I'm getting into crypto. I've read the blockchain is the future. And I'm going, Elaine, please, this is not, what you think. It's a little more challenging. 95% of people that do crypto lose money. That's a fact. And it's hard to get in that little elite 5% group. And I told her, she said, I don't care, Dan. She says, this is the future. I'm just going to buy some Bitcoin, maybe some Ethereum, and I'm going to do it. And I said, well, look, Elaine, why don't we get on a Zoom call? I'll show you what we're doing, and we'll go from there. Now, Elaine knew Tony. In fact, Elaine had introduced me to Tony years earlier. So I figured it was safe to show her. I showed Elaine, set her up, and within minutes, she's making money just like Tony and I. And then she said, can we share this with Daniel? Now, Daniel was another person I knew. We had done some business together in the past. And I said, oh, well, okay, fine. And I shared it with Daniel. Within a few minutes, he's making money at this. He shares it with his son, Anthony. And within a few minutes, Anthony's making money. Now, again, all of these people are now here to help you. They're on the call right this minute. If you're typing in questions right now, you're probably getting responses back from Anthony and Elaine and Daniel. But hold off on the questions. I'm going to answer most of your questions, and just tune in, listen here. I shared this with all of my close connections and people I was working with. Ian was my chief operation officer at the time. Shared it with him. He's in Israel. He started making money. I shared it with Mikey. He's down in Florida. He's been doing a lot of marketing with me. He starts making money. I shared it with Ashley. She also had been doing a lot of marketing and PR with me for years. She's up in Canada. She starts making money. They all then ganged up on me and they said, Dan, you got to share this with people. We're dealing with a pandemic. We're dealing with economic crisis. People are losing their homes. This is back in, a year ago. That's when all this happened. And it was tough. And I said, well, oh gosh, I knew I'd kind of worked myself into a scenario where I was going to have to share it, but I thought maybe there's a way to get out of this. I really was trying to get out of it. I said, if you can get a hold of Jason and Will, I knew both of them really well. We go back over a decade. I knew that if I were to market this and share it with people, that I'd have to have somebody like Jason and Will help me. And I knew they weren't interested in crypto. And I thought, okay, let's get them on. And if they're interested, we'll go forth. If they're not, then hey, I can go back and play my guitar, make money, and life's good, right? Well, we got Jason and Will on, and I shared this with them. And within 5 minutes, I've never seen two guys up on the edge of their seats as much as they were. These are two anti-crypto guys. And they're sitting there going, I can't believe this, Dan. I've not seen anything like it. I mean, you can go watch YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video, especially back then. Nobody was doing this thing that I now call the wiggle. So I said, okay, heck, I was hoping they wouldn't be interested, but they are. So then we decided we would shoot out a little email to a few people and see if anybody wanted to actually pay for me to show them how to do this. And then I thought, okay, here's the trick to get me out of this. If we charge way too much, kind of kidding here, but if we put a high price on this thing, maybe people won't sign up and then I'll be able to go back and just relax. So we decided to charge $10,000. I'm thinking I'm home free. We sent out an email and oh my gosh, was I wrong? We had so many people sign up wanting to pay $10,000 that we were now trying to unsell it. I could not possibly teach all of these people one-on-one in a 24-hour day. It just wasn't possible. So now we're trying to figure out, how do we solve this problem? Okay. And I relented. I said, you know what? I'll just do a course. I'll do a course so that people who want to learn this can, and then I don't have to spend a lot of one-on-one time because there's, you can only do so much of that. But I did end up spending one-on-one time with a small group of people. Now, the majority of those people have given me permission to actually show their accounts, and I'm going to do that in a minute. I mentioned it earlier, and indeed, that's what we're going to do in a minute. We're going to go into their accounts. These are people that have been with me, a year, 9 months, 10 months, a year. And I'm going to show you their accounts live. Why are they still with me? Well, must be working. You don't keep doing something for a year if it's not working. So I'm going to show you that in just a minute. So that's the story. All along the way, my other trading partner was Skippy the rescue dog. And if you happen to become a member, you'll meet Skippy. He's in some of my trainings. And he's got a unique ability. He can predict whether the market is going to go up or whether the market's going to go down. I mean, he is so accurate, but he doesn't have the ability to communicate that with me. So I just watch him wag his tail and sometimes take clues from that. The only person missing really is you. And we're going to maybe fix that today. If you think this is something you could do, like the tens of thousands of others that are already doing it, then you'll see how that works today. What are we doing? This is funny. We're wiggling our way to wealth. That's right. Silly as it is. Okay. The market's going up. The market's going down. We don't care because this does work regardless of the market direction. The market goes sideways 80% of the time. This works phenomenally well in a sideways market. Most traders take bets. They try to predict, like Nostradamus, when to buy a bunch of crypto. They cross their fingers and hope it goes to the moon. It rarely does. And if they get lucky and they catch one that's really going up, then getting out is another problem. And if you do get out, guess what? You're out of business. Now you got to put on your Nostradamus hat and hope you find another one that's going to do the same. And you do that and you do that and you have sleepless nights. You're putting money. It's almost like gambling. I don't want to call it gambling, but it's almost like that. And it's a really difficult way to make money. That's why 95% of people lose money. We're not doing that. Okay. I'm not teaching trading. We're not having to learn how to read charts. We don't sit here and watch our monitor. We don't do any of that. This is really, really different. You will see. Now, how much can this add up to? I'm going to go back over a year and a half, or roughly around a year and a half, and I'm going to show you my account. Now, these are screenshots. Later, we're going to go in and you're going to see actual live accounts. But I need to go back in time. There is a way within the software that's doing the work for us. There is a way to pull the data, which I'll show you how I do that. And I'm going to present to you month after month after month how this has built that yellow brick road for me, for Tony, and for others. But this is my account. I also want to emphasize something about money and crypto. There's two kinds of money that you make in crypto. One is real money that you can actually spend. The other is what I call theoretical money. You ever met a person and they say, hey, I bought some crypto back a couple of years ago, and wow, it's worth a lot more today than it was back then. And you're thinking, wow, that sounds great. And then you say, why don't we go to lunch and we'll talk about it? Maybe you can show me what you're doing. And they say, well, I would, but I don't have any money. You see, even if you have equity in crypto, it's not spendable money. It's theoretical money. People buy, this isn't a bad idea, but they buy some Bitcoin or some Ethereum, or they buy some crypto and they hold it. HODL is what it's called. And they hope that over some time, maybe a year or 2 years or 3 years, that it will be worth more in the future. And that's been a pretty good bet for a long time. But during the wait, you're broke. What we're doing has some of that, but it also allows us the opportunity to make wiggle money, to make that vending machine money. And when that comes in, it comes in as spendable cash. It comes into your exchange and you can reinvest it, you can withdraw it, whatever. It's basically your money. You can do with it as you please. So the money I'm going to show you here is not theoretical money. This is real. Way back in 2020, let's go back in time. August, I make $94,649, spendable money. I could put it as a down payment on a home. I could buy a car, whatever, take a vacation, donate to a charity, of which I do a lot. Let's look at the next month, September 2020. I make $100,000, over $100,000. Again, spendable money. Now, the way I pull this data from the software, by the way, this isn't our software, it's a third-party software, but you go in and have this little widget and you punch in the dates and it goes into the database and it pulls up and it shows you how much profit you made for the month. For example, October, I made $6,112. This is in 2020. Now we plug in the dates for November and you can see back November 2020, I make $30,547. Again, this is spendable cash. The next month, December, 31 days, and I make $70,970. Now we're going into the next year. This is 2021, January, 31 days, I make $41,283. That's spendable cash. February, 28 days, what do? I make $161,000. Note here, the pandemic is starting. It's really getting rough out there, but let's keep going. All right, here we are, March, I make $20,958. And then for April, it's getting worse. Lockdown. I make $24,444. I'm doing nothing, folks. I mean, you think I'm joking, sitting on the back porch playing my guitar? Well, I do that. I mow the lawn. I go on vacations. I live life. Now, that shows you how I pull the data, but let's keep going forward and take a look at how it panned out as the months continue. In May, I make $49,106. The next month, June, I make $11,029. The next month, July, I make $34,693. This is free and clear spendable cash that I can do with what I want. Some of it I roll back in. Here, August, I make $20,425. The next month, September, I make $81,902. And the next month, October, I make $37,994. And the next month, I make $44,330. That's November. And then December, this is where we're going to end. I make $26,000. So I've shown you an entire year and a half. And then in a moment, we're going to go and look at live accounts, which will be current this year. And we will look back at what has happened since I've been doing the plan with our members. Now, is this the whole story? No. And is the plan only these automations? No. The plan is as robust of a plan as you're going to find in crypto, because what I wanted to do is to structure something that gave us a rule set to know what to do at all times. I was building this for myself. I never wanted to be in that situation that I was in back in 2018 when we went through the crypto winter. Never wanted to be there again. I never wanted to lose money like I lost during that period. So I built this thing out. I'm peeling off a certain percentage of the profits and I'm stashing them away in a special, unique way that further amplifies my profits. In fact, if you added up everything that I showed you here on these screenshots, it's $856,433. That's a lot of money in nickels, dimes, and quarters. Don't forget. That's the way I'm making my money, minute after minute after minute. And unlike regular trading, where you make your bet, cross your fingers, you're broke until it finally pans out, and then you're probably more broke. And then you have to find another trade, and you just keep doing that until you can't do it no more. It's not that. Instead, this is like setting up a vending machine and then going home, and the thing just keeps making money. It just continues to make money. In other words, the deal keeps going. I don't have to keep finding a new thing every time the last one does its completion. I take this money and I put it in a special location that amplifies it further. This screenshot shows you what happened to that money. It turned into almost $1.5 million, $1,462,000. I'll show you how I did that as well. That's another aspect of the plan. The plan is something that allows you to enter into a market that many people think is, I don't know, some people think it's scary. Some people think it's just complicated. Some people think it's mysterious. Some people think it's the future. Some people think it's exciting. Some people think that this is their hedge against the dollar devaluing and all the craziness is going in the world. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to think, you think, but you have to have a plan to address this. You can't just go, hey, I'm going to buy some Bitcoin, sit back and see what happens. That's not a plan. We talk about strategies, we talk about hodling, we talk about reserves, we talk about safety, we talk about diversity, we talk about, how to turn $1 into $2. Okay, we talk about hodling, but hodling a bit different than most people are doing it. I mean, can you imagine this? What if you could hodl but make cash revenue as you hodl? Okay, that's interesting, right? That's the kind of thing that we're talking about. But this is a big picture program. This is planning for your future. You will understand the blockchain. You will understand that if you do the right things now, you're not going to get rich next week. You're not going to get rich next month. But you may be able to do kind of what I did. I positioned myself so that I could get rich in a reasonable time. And I'll show you that in a minute as well. The last thing you want to be is the man or the woman with no plan. That is risky. Now, we're all wondering where Bitcoin is going to go. It's down right now. But here's an interesting fact. Even though it is down, and even though some people are just thinking this is awful, this particular time is not as bad as 4 other crashes that have occurred in the past. So comparatively, we're in a crash, but this is a lighter crash, okay? We don't know if the crash is over. We don't know if we're about to bottom out and start going back up. We don't know. But you're in an interesting position, and this stock to flow model will help you understand that. This is a prediction model that was developed by an individual that goes by the pseudonym Plan B. It has been spot on accurate for over a decade, and that's why I want to explain it to you, because nobody has a crystal ball. But this is as close as you can get to it, because for over a decade, this has been very helpful. It's been very accurate, helping to predict where Bitcoin may go in the future. Now, crypto is much more than just Bitcoin. There are tens of thousands of different tokens and coins that are in this space. But whatever Bitcoin does, the others have a tendency to kind of coattail, to kind of follow along. So if you understand and have a good feel for what Bitcoin may do in the future, that helps you to understand and feel comfortable being in this space. So let's talk about it. This predictive model is really just this brown line here. That is a prediction of where Bitcoin will go over time. Now, Bitcoin was first invented back in over a decade, back in 2010 into 2011. Now, there is a little slope in this predictive model that repeats itself. Do you see it here? Isn't it interesting that it almost seems like it was contrived or like, built in? I mean, how can a chart just go up like this, evenly spaced? Well, it is contrived. It is built into the code of Bitcoin. It is this thing called a Bitcoin halving. And every time there has been a Bitcoin halving in the past, it's always correlated with a parabolic bull run. Meaning that if you happen to hold crypto, Bitcoin particularly, around the time of these Bitcoin halvings, because it reduces the number of Bitcoin in circulation and it increases the demand of Bitcoin, you are generally in a good position to benefit. That indeed is what happened to me, and you're going to see where you fit on this chart in just a second. And then it helps you to make a decision whether this is something that you think you might want to get ready for. So if we go back in time, you'll see that when Bitcoin first started, I mean, it was trading for like, sub 1 cent. Okay. In fact, it was kind of just this little technical, toy that nerds played around with. But the story is, and it is true, that the guy goes into a pizza place and orders 2 pizza, and he actually pays 10,000 BTC for that. And he thought he was getting a deal. But how does that deal sound today? Hey Siri, how much is 10,000 BTC worth?
10,000 Bitcoins is $283,538,240, according to Yahoo Finance.
$283 million pizza. Now, granted, he got 2 pizzas, so maybe he got a deal, but that's one hell of a lot of money. Now, none of us could have had the foresight to get 10,000 BTC and just hold on to it till today, but it shows you where we've evolved to. Now, let's look at how accurate the predictive model has been. Here we go. This is the price of Bitcoin. And you can see around 2013, 2014, it was originally below the brown predictive line. We have this Bitcoin halving, and Bitcoin breaks through and peaks way above the line at a little over 1,000. That was a tremendous bull run. I wasn't involved, and very few people were. However, as we go forward, we get into 2017 and 2018, we have another Bitcoin halving. And this is when I got involved. This thing is just barreling straight up. And I buy in around 7,000 or so, and it goes on up to 20,000. And, you know, that was pretty fantastic. Now, I want to tell you the difference between Bitcoin and crypto back then and where we're at today. Back then, the entire space was pretty much the greater fool theory, meaning that you would buy some hoping a greater fool would come along that would spend more than you, and you'd sell it to them. And then it just was, you know, one fool after another until you ran out of them, and then boom, it crashes. In other words, there weren't, you know, real world use cases for crypto and Bitcoin back then. It was just beginning to put on its running shoes. There was a lot of question about whether it would even make it. Well, today it's quite different. Today there are protocols that are providing all types of utility for you and I. Many things, as I said earlier, are built on the blockchain, and crypto is everywhere. I mean, PayPal and Square, and I mean, banks are doing it. It's, you know, it's the currency in some countries. Treasuries at corporations are putting it on their books. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So this is no longer something where it's just a bunch of people FOMOing in. FOMO meaning fear of missing out, where you're just buying because something's going up. But think about this. I lost all my money at this point, and we are in this crypto winter. You're going to see it here on the chart. That's when I developed the plan. Here it is. This little period right here where it's blue doesn't look too bad on the chart, right? This was supposedly the worst time in crypto, and that was called the crypto winter, and that's when I was working on the plan. Didn't have a lot of money, but that's when I first discovered that I could make this vending machine money, and Tony and I were sitting there and making money and what have you. But here's what I want you to note. Now listen up, folks. I'm telling you something that can change your life, okay? There's no promises here, you know, but still, this is what I did. Right here, we had a Bitcoin halving, and it went up. But we're still kind of experiencing this, because in every other case, it has busted through the brown line and peaked. This is still under the brown line and still is likely to peak. If it's been accurate every other time, who knows? But I feel that it's going to be accurate this time. There are very few models that have been so accurate for so long, and this is over a decade. If it breaks through and goes on up, it's likely going to hit somewhere north of $100,000 per Bitcoin. Now, if you've never bought Bitcoin, you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. It's not like going out and buying a Lamborghini, okay? You just can buy like $10 worth or $100 worth or $1,000, whatever, and I'm not even recommending that. But I'm just saying that we have this opportunity now to get in on a discount. I sometimes joke that Bitcoin knows when Dan is going to open the doors to the plan, and it offers special discount for our new members, meaning that you can get in at prices that we would have died for 6 months ago. 6 months ago, Bitcoin was over $60,000. And if I had said, hey, I got a little side deal for you here, but I can sell you some for half price, you would have said, you're kidding me. I'll take all you got. That's what you would have said. Guess what? It's half price right now. So you can be ridiculous and say, well, it's half price, but man, I'm not going to get it because I'm seeing a lot of red in the market and I'm reading headlines all over the place. And so, hell no, I'm going to wait till it gets back up to 60,000. And you know what? It's going to get back up there eventually. And when it does, you're going to look back and you go, my God, Dan was offering it at 28. Well, no, I wasn't. The market was, okay? Right now it's 28, 29, 30. You could check it, but it's half price, if not more. That's where we're at. Now, if this thing carries out, here's kind of the first step in you understanding where you fit in with the plan. I'm going to show you exactly what I perfected back here during this crypto winter. And look what's coming up. What's coming up late 2024 is the next Bitcoin halving. And sure as God made green apples, it's probably going to do what it's done every other time, and it will have the opportunity to break through that brown line. And then we could be, yeah, you're looking at it. It could be upwards of $1 million per Bitcoin. Now, is this going to happen? We'll see. But is it worth the effort? Yes, if you've got a plan and you don't just willy-nilly just, I'm going to watch this YouTube and do this, and then I'll watch this next YouTube and I'll do that, and then I'll read this Facebook post and I'll do that, and then I'll listen to my next door neighbor and I'll do this. That's not a plan. You need to learn how to do something from somebody that's already done it. You need to learn, not only somebody, but there's more than one, all right, that have done it, and get your ducks in a row, because this Bitcoin halving is built into the code. That's not a probability, that's a guarantee. There is going to be a Bitcoin halving, all right? And you will have the opportunity to learn how to make cash flow in the interim and play it safe to build up your position so that when this happens, it could change things tremendously in your life. That's what we're talking about. Now, everything I just told you is great to know, but it doesn't really affect how the plan works, because I told you earlier, I'll emphasize it one more time, that the way the plan works, it doesn't matter as much if the market goes up or if it goes down or if it goes sideways. The plan works tremendously when it goes sideways. Most trading approaches do not. Everything works great when the market's going up, so no problem there. But the plan even works surprisingly well when it goes down. Okay, doesn't mean you can't go underwater, doesn't mean that you don't end up in a long-term hodl scenario where you might have to hodl something for many months. Okay, that's part of the way this works. Okay, but it does mean that you have the opportunity to make cash flow along the way. And what's wrong with that? No other trading method makes cash flow. None. This does. Now I'm going to show you how I do it in just a second. Ask yourself this question: are you in the right place at the right time? The answer is hell yeah. That's my opinion. You're in the right place. Bitcoin is more scarce than gold. If you had bought gold 10 years ago and you tried to sell it today, you'd be lucky to break even. So that's no more a great store of value. Bitcoin is more scarce than gold. There will never, ever, ever be more than 21 million Bitcoin in the future. It is programmed into the code, and most of it has already been mined from the code and is out there in the real world. It has already created over 60,000 millionaires. You're looking at one right here. And I'm willing to show you, hold your hand. My team will embrace you to help you to learn how to handle this smart. Bitcoin has been the best performing asset as compared to any other asset ever to exist on the planet. What's wrong with that? It has beat it not by a little bit, but by over 1,000%. It's better than real estate. It's better than stocks. It's better than bonds. It's better than investing in rare gems or anything like that. This is the real deal. But here's how I'm doing it. For some of you, this is what you've been waiting for, and I think I might disappoint you, because this is so simplistic. You're going to go, you're kidding. That's what you're doing? That's what you're probably going to think. And the answer is yes, this is what I'm doing. Now, let's have some fun again. And I'm going to ask you to pretend you're a spider. Now, if you were a spider and you wanted to catch a wiggling bug or a fly or whatever, what would you do? What do spiders do? They build a web. Well, that's what we're doing. We're building a web. It's called a grid, but it's basically a bunch of lines. It's kind of like a spider web, and this lives within your exchange. And I'm showing you one of these webs now. It has 4 red lines at the top of the grid range, and it has 4 green lines at the bottom of the grid range. But in reality, there will be hundreds of these grid lines. This is a monstrous web we're building. We're wanting to catch that crazy wiggling fly no matter where it goes. We set our trap. Now, I'm just showing you 8 lines just so that you can understand the concept, but just keep in mind that this is a big web and it has hundreds of lines. Now, the red lines are what are called open sell orders that are on your exchange. You don't have to know that, remember that. The software does it for you. But basically, anytime price wiggles past a red line, one of your red lines, the software will sell just a little bit of your crypto. The green lines are open buy orders. And again, you don't have to understand this. The software will do it for you, but anytime price wiggles past one of these green lines, the software will purchase just a little bit of crypto for you, maybe 25 bucks worth, okay? You're a big spender. Our trap is set. What does the spider do after he's set his web? My tagline, nothing. They go to the middle of the web in most cases, and they just do nothing. They sit there and they wait. And that's what we do, okay? Sometimes we wait a day, a week, a month. Some of these we set up and we wait a year. And we can catch more than one fly. We can catch a lot of them. And indeed, that's what we do. As the fly comes wiggling by, price is our fly here. And if it hits a green line, the automation will buy just a little bit of crypto. Again, maybe 25 bucks worth. If it wiggles up and it hits one of your red lines, then you will make 25 cents. That's that cash flow, okay? Fun, right? And if price wiggles down, it purchases a little bit of crypto. And if it continues to go down, it will buy more using what's called dollar cost averaging, a approach to buying assets that is pretty much agreed by everyone is the best way to buy. Meaning as price drops, you keep buying a little bit, so that you get the best average price. And that's what this thing does automatically. The software knows that if it's wiggled down a bit, that it will need to turn the green line into a red line so that if it wiggles back up and hits the red line, you will sell that little bit of crypto that you previously bought. And that's it. I'm the fly, I'm sitting in the middle, I'm not doing anything except watching this thing wiggle when I want to. And it makes nickels and dimes and quarters and 50 cents. That's it. Now, some of you are thinking, Dan, there's got to be a catch. I'm hearing my grandmother's voice in the back of my head. Anytime somebody tells you that something's too good to be true, there's got to be a catch, right? Okay, I've been doing it for 4 years. We've got members been doing it, and we're looking for the catch. As long as price is within your grid range, and you're going to see how big these things are, you will make the wiggle. Now, sometimes the price will exceed the top. It will fly out the top, okay? But this is a spider web that has wheels on it. Because if the fly goes up, meaning price goes up, the entire spider web, the entire grid follows along and just continues to catch the wiggle. Isn't that a beautiful thing? If it goes sideways, we're covering such a huge range that it just makes money. And 80% of the time, remember, it goes sideways. Now let's talk about the scary part. Sometimes it goes down and it goes down and it goes down and down and down and down and down and down, and it will break through the bottom. Well, when it breaks through the bottom, I wish I had enough time to tell you all the things we can do, but I'll summarize it for you. Number one, we can do nothing, which is what I do most of the time, because you don't lose money when it drops out the bottom. You're just hodling. The coin pair that you were formerly making wiggle off of now is below the grid, so you're no longer making the wiggle, but you still own the asset. Now, let's talk about that so you can understand what that means. Many of you live in a home that you own, all right? If you do, let's say you bought a home for, I don't know, $300,000. And you're living in it for, 6 months. And you just decide on a lark that you'll call up your real estate agent and find out how much your home is worth. Hey, Sally, I've been here for 6 months. What's my home worth today? I mean, I'm not looking to sell, but just curious. Well, Dan, I hate to tell you, they've gone down a little bit and they're only worth $290,000. Your home, if you put it on the market, might be $290,000. You go, wow, geez, that's awful. And she says, you want to sell it? I'd be happy to sell it for you. What are you going to do? You're not going to sell your house, right? It's an asset. It's providing you benefits. You're living in it. You just wait. Now, you call her back 6 months later. Hey, Sally, how much is my house worth now? She says, well, your house is worth $320,000 now. It's gone up. And you're thinking, wow, that's great. And she says, you want to sell a house? You know how real estate agents are. And you're thinking, well, no, I don't. You see, the asset itself, the value of it is kind of irrelevant. Yeah, you bought it at 300,000, and sometimes it dips below, and sometimes it goes up, and it goes up and down and up and down, just like crypto goes up and down and up and down. But that doesn't have anything to do with whether you want to buy it or sell it, okay? It doesn't have anything to do with it. And that's the way it is here. Once you own these assets, you just hodl them, and when it's in the grid, it makes wiggle for you. When it does not, then you're hodling it like so many people are. Now, there's some cool tricks we can do. We can actually move our grid manually lower, and I will show you how to do that so that we can get back in the wiggle. Isn't that cool? And there's lots of ways to deal with this. But at the end of the day, most of the time we do nothing, and we're playing this game smart. So when we finally get to a point where you could become a member, I want you to remember all of this, because I'm going to show you a plan that indeed works because it's been proven, but it's not get rich quick, and it's not win every time. This is as honest of a program as you're going to find, but if you play it with a plan, I think you're going to like what you experience. That's what I think. So there are fees that you have to pay. Some people think that's the catch. But every single number that I have shown you, the numbers I'm showing you here, and the numbers I'm going to show you in live accounts in just a moment, those are net numbers, meaning that that's how much money is in the pockets of the people and the accounts that you're looking at. In this example, what really happened would be that I made 30 cents and I had to pay maybe a nickel to the exchange. So I'm only showing you net numbers. The exchange fees are already taken out, just to be fair. Now, this is what a real grid looks like, okay? Not the thing on the left, that's a bubblegum machine. I think you figured that out. But this weird thing on the right that looks like a serpent or a worm, that is a real grid. You're looking at a money-making machine right there. At least in my mind, that's a money-making machine, because every time I see a red dot, that says profit has been made. Maybe a nickel, a dime, a quarter, 50 cents, 75 cents, some small amount of money has been made every time you see one of those red dots. Every time you see a green dot, the software has purchased just a little bit of crypto, because see, you've got to buy something in order to sell it. It's buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. And in fact, this part of the software cannot lose money. Let me be clear. This software can only buy low and can only sell a little bit higher, and it just makes that wiggle profit. Now, that doesn't mean your asset can't drop down. It can, okay? But as far as this wiggle, it can only make money, and the two play against each other. So when we look at this, you can't count them, but there could be 3,000 or 4,000 dots here on the screen. There are so many dots on the screen that they're on top of each other. One red dot, there could actually be 10 red dots there, okay? You just can't even see them. This is a lot. This is over a number of months, and it shows you how price has stayed within that spider web for a long period of time, because the range we're covering here can be 50%, it can be 80%, it can be 100%, it can be 150% range. You will see headline news when crypto drops 10%. It's like, run for the hills, folks. There's been a 10% drop. It is disaster zone when it has hit 30% drop. And oh my God, hell is about to freeze over if it does 50% drop, okay? And I understand why. Because for all of those folks that are playing without a plan, just going at this thing, you know, with dumb luck, they're freaking out and they're selling, and it's just crazy. What do? Well, look at this. If you look in the middle of this big straight down drop that you see, that drop is probably 30%. But guess what? When it drops, it doesn't just go straight down. It wiggles. And it can take hours and days before it finally gets down. And when it does, it usually hits a floor someplace along the line, and it bounces up, and then it just kind of goes up and down. But as long as price is within this big spider web, this big grid that I've set up, it's going to continue to spit out profits. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it will make so much money off of the wiggle as it goes down that the profit made is more than the loss of the value of the asset. It would be like a rental property where the renter is paying you so much rent that even though the property loses maybe $5,000 in value, if you were to sell it, the renter is paying you so much rent that you're in profit. That's what can happen. Now, not all the time, but sometimes it happens. And here's the good news. Even if you do lose, you will always lose. And by the way, when I say lose, I'm saying if you were to suddenly just freak out, sell out, and close everything down, which we don't do. But if you were to look at this chart, where I would be at this bottom here, I would be in a better position than everybody else in the market that was trading the same coin pair, because everybody else made a bet, it went down, they lost. I'm starting an automation. I'm not making a bet, I'm starting an automation. And as long as the price stays within the shoe's range, I'm going to make wiggle. And again, if it goes down below, I just wait, I hodl, because you don't lose money until you sell. And you will see this in a minute. People let these things run for months and months. You can let them run for a year if you like. If you don't sell, you don't lose. And as long as you believe that the crypto market is going to be worth more in the future, based on that stock to flow predictive model, just as one way of estimating, then you just do what makes sense. You just keep doing the plan, you hodl, you wiggle, you do the other strategies, and it's a smart way to come out on top. Now on the left, we got this vending machine. You may be thinking, what the hell you got that for? Well, I used to have 40 of these things. I had 40 of these spiral gumball machines back a couple of decades ago when they first came out. And I had them all around my hometown. I had them in car washes and restaurants and theaters and things of the nature. And boy, it was really a fun business. What would happen is kids would come in, hey, mom, give me a quarter. They pop their quarter in, the ball comes spiraling down the bottom, and I'm making money, right? Minute after minute as the kids buy the gum. Hey, some adults' fault too. But anyway, I'm making money. I come by every week or so and I refill new gum into the machine. If there's ants climbing in there, I get rid of them. I have to have maintenance and all that kind of stuff. I take out my quarters. I have to give half of it to the business owner. I didn't like that part. I take my part home. I dump all these quarters on the kitchen table, and my wife and my daughter and I, we sit there and by hand, we roll quarters. It was fun. We'd watch TV, have a beer sometimes, and popcorn. It was a fun business. This is like that, but no ants, no having to invest in bubble gum, no having to go, drive around and do all that kind of stuff, no splitting the money with some business, none of that. I'm sitting on the back porch, I'm playing my guitar, and I'm making money. What's not to like about that? So I'm going to give you the 5 biggest secrets that I've learned in crypto. And these secrets only apply if you are doing crypto the way I recommend. It's not going to help you a lot if you're out there doing the moon chase approach. But if you're doing it the way I'm doing it, these 5 secrets are worth their weight in gold. Okay, it's counterintuitive, but don't you find often that the people that make the most money are doing what the herd is not? I can tell you what the herd's doing right now. They're freaking out and they're selling and they're losing their pants. That's not what we're doing. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to share 4 of them, and then I'm going to show you live accounts of some of our members, and then I'm going to share one more secret after that. Secret number 1, a goal without a plan is a wish. And there's a lot of people out there wishing this would work for them. And it's probably not. It is true. 95% of people lose money in crypto. And the 5% that are not losing are either highly skilled traders who have deep pockets, or they're people who have a plan and they're not just going at this thing willy-nilly. By the way, this was written by the same guy that wrote A Little Princess. Secret number 2 is an optimist is a person who sees green lights everywhere. That's the person that goes to YouTube, watches somebody talk about crypto, and they think, wow, that sounds like a good idea. Of course it is, because they're trying to create traffic. That's the way they make their money. And so you watch it and you think, God, it sounds like a good idea. I'll try it. Works a time or two, doesn't work, works, doesn't work. You get tired of it. You go watch another YouTube or another Facebook or whatever. Everything you look at looks good. You keep trying it. It's strategy hopping, okay? It's never like that. So don't buy into that. I did. I lost everything. At the other end of the spectrum, we've got a pessimist. A pessimist sees only red stoplights. That's the person where no matter how much proof and evidence and help that you offer them, they're just going to sit on the sideline and wait until they see something that really proves it's working. These are the people that get into crypto at the very, very top. They finally see a green light when crypto is like way up, which is the worst time to do it, because what's it likely going to do? It's going to be a downturn because it goes up and it goes down or whatever. That's a pessimist. They just keep waiting. Okay. I know that's not you, because you wouldn't be here with me today. But if you're a truly wise person, you're going to become colorblind. And I'm going to show you accounts in a moment where you're going to see red. You'll see some green too, but you're going to see red and you're going to see green. And that's going to be the way it is in crypto. And you're going to see it all the time. There's a couple of reasons why being colorblind is helpful. Number one, you have to understand that in order to see green, you have to see red first, because in order to sell something, you got to buy it, right? It doesn't matter. Even if you're in an Amazon business or any kind of a business, you buy something at a lower price and then you sell it retail at a higher price. That's the way you make your money. So temporarily you're in the red when you buy it, and then later you sell it, you make your money. That's the way most businesses work. Well, it's the way it works here too. So you can't have all green. Don't believe it if anybody says so. But if you're colorblind and you just don't care, that's the way you have to be. We set up like a spider, right? We don't care. We got our web out there. We're just going to sit there in the middle of the spider web, rain, shine, whatever. We don't care. If you think Bitcoin will someday be worth more than it is today, as is the case with anyone that saw value in that stock to flow indicator, or maybe that's just your hunch, then the more red that you see in the markets, that means the bigger the discount that you're going to be able to enjoy. Boy, should you have a smile on your face. If you understand this, you should have a smile on your face right now. There is not a better time to start crypto than a time when the market is showing a lot of red. So your timing's good. We got that. And then number 4, there will be a fifth later, but number 4, if I show you how to get paid while you're sitting at the stoplight, would you be willing to wait? Patience is what it takes. You got to have smarts, you got to have plan, and you got to be patient. And if you can do all of those things, then all that stuff like the Bitcoin halving and the market, it'll take care of it. It did me. I think I'm going to get the benefit from it once again. And probably a time or two after that, I hope. So that's where we're at. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you real accounts. And when you look at these real accounts, I want you to look at them intelligently, knowing what I'm showing you, right? So let me break down. You're going to see a lot of numbers. This is all live, okay? I'm going to go into my web browser, and I want you to know what to look at. Okay, the software looks like what you see here on the right. And right here, you'll see a total invested. That tells you how much that person, we're going to be in their account. You're not going to see their name or anything like that, but you'll see you're in their account. And the numbers are going to be moving around because it's live. But this is the amount of money that the person has invested. In this example, $17,695 is invested. And in this case, it's invested across 5 different automations. And they would be, if you scroll down, you'd be able to see all of the automations, all right? And then right under each automation, it tells you how many days or weeks or months the automations have been running. And then each automation will have profit that has been wiggled out. These are the nickel, dimes, and quarters. And then we have our change column, which is where the market is, whether the tide is up or down or what have you. We don't pay as much attention to that because we're not selling. All right, we're looking at the profit. But up here, this is the cash in your pocket. In other words, this person has $17,695 invested in 5 different automations, and they could have been running for months, and they have wiggled out $5,717 in free and clear capital into their exchange. And this person, I don't know, they could have spent it, or maybe they put it back into other automations, but the money was theirs to spend. In this case, it was a 27% return on their money. There's some phenomenal returns that you're going to see here. However, there's one more number here. And this is a sum total of all of the automations that are running at the moment and how much they would be worth if you shut them down. In other words, this is that phone call where you had the $300,000 home and it had dipped down and now it's only worth $290,000, and you're talking to your realtor. You're at the red light, right? It's dropped down, it's in the red, and you're thinking, I'm not going to sell my home just because it's dipped a little bit. Thank you. We'll call you back later, and boom, you're off the phone. This is the red light. You will be at the red light at times when you do the plan. Most of our members are at red lights right now. Many of them are continuing to make the wiggle profits while they sit at the red light. Others, the prices drop below the grid, as I talked about earlier, and they are in full hodl mode, waiting for it to return. Some have repositioned the grid lower in order to get back into the grid. And I show you how to do that in the training. And that's it. Well, let's go. Let's take a look at real accounts. These are all members that paid at least $10,000 to spend a couple of hours with me over 9 months ago, okay? And they've been with me all the time, okay? I asked them if they'd be willing to share with the general public, with you guys. And most of them said yes. Almost all of them said yes. And I'm going to share that with you straight away. So let's go into my web browser. Here we go. And out of privacy, I need to hide the web address so as not to reveal any of our clients' private information. So I'm just going to cover up the web address. Here we go. But other than that, you're going to be looking at live accounts. Now, this is not an account here. What we're going to look at first is just Bitcoin, because I want you to realize that the special sale on aisle 9 is going on right this moment. Bitcoin back here at the turn of the year, the end of last year, it was up, mid 60,000. And we've been teaching people the plan, and as we teach them, look what's been going on. This is amazing. I mean, we've been teaching people during one of the worst market, periods that we've seen. Okay, and yet people have been joining. People are continuing to do the plan, and they're realizing, how this works. And I'm going to show you the money they've made from bot profits and things of that nature. Okay, but let's measure it. This is a pretty big drop. If I measure this drop, this is a drop of, where are we at? Almost 60%. 60%. In other words, I've been teaching this to people. We are in 130 countries. Thousands upon thousands of people are doing this. And the market's been going the wrong way. When I show you the accounts, keep this in mind, 60% drops, and most people in the marketplace are going, wow, this is pretty heavy duty. But again, this is opportunity like I've never seen it before, because if you're starting now, it looks to me as though we've got blue sky ahead. Oh yeah, it could go down some more, but we're going to build big, giant grids that are going to cover us, right? We've got a big spider web we're going to lay. So let's go over and look at accounts. Now, I'm going to go pretty quick through these things because you already know how to read them, but you'll get the idea. Okay, this person has 9,806, again, this is live data, so it's moving around, but $9,800 or so invested. They have made net in their pocket $4,354, a 32% return. If they were to sell everything, okay, they have 4 automations running right now, okay? If they were to sell everything, here they are, okay? If they were to sell everything, they would be down 26%, but they're not. The realtors told them the house is not worth as much as when they bought it, but okay, I'm still bringing in the rent. I'm still bringing in the wiggle, okay? Some of them are bringing in wiggle. Some of them are below the grid and they're in hodl mode. It's one or the other. You're either the red light making money or you're just at the red light hodling. Let's look at the next account. This person has $26,800 invested. They have made $12,000 in their pocket, spendable money, regardless of where the market's at. If they were to close out everything right now, they are down $29,000. Oh, that sounds scary, right? They haven't lost a penny. Again, think of the analogy with real estate. That's what's going on here. When you understand this, that's when you learn how to make money. Let's look at the next one. This person has $30,600 invested. They've made a 43% return. This is $24,000 in their pocket. Over a period of time, you know, we can look at some of these, you know, 6 months, 5 months, 5 months, what have you. Now, I will tell you this too, and unfortunately, the software doesn't show you some of the automations that they have closed down. You can close an automation down, and when you do that, it's not like you make you know, a bunch of money, because you make your money as you go along. Closing one down just stops the revenue from coming in. It stops the wiggle. And sometimes we close them down in order to relocate the lines lower. So sometimes that happens. It doesn't show that, unfortunately, in the software, but there was a lot of profit made from people closing bots down around, you know, but I'm not able to show you that. So I'm only showing you active accounts, and what you're seeing here, they're not even really results. What they are the status of the account. So this person has 24,000 that they have made over a period of time, looks like 5 or 6 months, and they're still going at it. This person has 63,000 invested. They have made $14,680. Their account is down at this point. This person has 39,900 invested. Okay, hold on, let me make sure, hold on. Okay, right, okay, I just want to make sure I didn't have a double up. 39,000 invested, they've made $34,000. Their account is down 11,000 if they were to shut everything down at this point. This person has 13,600 invested. They've made $9,248. They're down 45% if they were to sell everything out at this moment. Now, again, I want to keep re-emphasizing this. Let's shift over to my vending machine business that I used to have. If I have vending machines that are bringing me in the wiggle, they're bringing me in my vending machine profits, I don't shut them down, right? I don't take that vending machine and go stick it in my garage, because if I put it in my garage, I make absolutely nothing, right? I just leave it there. If the restaurant is closed, I don't make money at that period of time. If I take it out, I'm guaranteed I'm going to make no money. So that's kind of the same kind of analogy. We're at the red light with many of our accounts right now. Some people are enjoying wiggle, some people it's below the grid and they are in hodl mode. This person has 62,000 invested, 39,000 profit. They are down 62,000 if they were to sell everything right now. This person has 12,300 invested. They've made 3,000 in profit. Their account is down negative 54% if they were to sell everything right now. This person has 11,300 invested. They've made $8,460 cash in their pocket. And sorry about that. And their account is down right now. This person has 6,700 invested across 2 automations. They have $2,317 cash that they've made in their account. And if they were to shut everything down right now, they are down 3,331. This person has 9,500 invested. They have $4,265 of cash that they've wiggled out of the market. Their account, if they were to shut everything down right now, would be negative 3,938. Now, again, if you look at some of the I just pick this randomly. This is a market, okay, that is down 60%, but This person, even though they've got two they've been running for a month, and this one they've been running for 6 months, even though the market's down 60%, their account is only down 38%. So you can see where the wiggle effect does reduce how fast something goes down, because you're making money as it drops, okay? It doesn't solve the whole problem, but as long as you can wait at the red light and perhaps keep making the wiggle, you're good to go. You've got a plan, you're not freaking out, you're waiting for the market to play out in your favor. This person has 5,500 invested, they've made 1,300, they've been doing it for 7 months and so forth. The next person, I'm sorry, my browser's kind of playing around here. This person has 2,000 invested, they've made 268 in wiggle profits, and their account is down $1,900. These are live accounts. This is reality. I'm not hiding anything because this is the way it works. So let's take a look. Let's go back over to my slides here and take a look a little deeper. I want to share secret number 5. Okay, see, first I got to get rid of this. 1 second here. There we go. Good. I want to share the last secret. This is my favorite secret. It's by Zig Ziglar. I don't know if you guys remember him. Great motivational speaker. If you wait until all the lights are green before you leave home, you'll never get started on your trip to the top. Gosh, I so love this quote, because that's what happens. You know, think about it. I mean, even in the real world, if you were to wait before you go downtown or before you go to the store or whatever, if you were to sit at your house and wait for every single light to be green before you finally get in your car and head down the road, you'd never leave your house. You'd never do anything. It's not going to happen. There's not going to be a best time to get in the market. It's not going to happen. You're never going to get all green lights. And just at that point in time where it appears there's all green lights, that's probably the worst time to get in the market. I think everybody knows down deep that the best time to get into a market is when the herd is freaking out, right? Let them freak out. You can benefit from that. Keep this in mind. Now, I'm teaching crypto in an extraordinarily robust manner. I mean, I'm not making it hard or anything, but I'm trying to present an honest, clear, safe approach to this. And what I'm going to teach in what I call phase 1 is how to create cash flow, how to set up these grids and do these automations, and also how to do a number of other things so that you've got a complete plan. How to have diversity, how to have reserves, how to have some in HODL, how to make extra money with your HODL, how to deploy different strategies. So in other words, it's really difficult for me to show you everything that the plan is, but I've shown you kind of the tip of the iceberg and really one of the exciting parts, because very few approaches teach cash flow, and this does. Very few approaches have a do nothing strategy, and this does. So this is phase 1, but I do have other phases. Now, the other phases cost extra. You don't have to do them, but I want you to know that this is not a one-stop bus. In other words, I'm just going to go up, learn one thing, and then, hey, good luck, guys. I can continue to take you deeper and deeper into crypto so that you are extremely versed in this new world. And again, you're going to be here anyway. It's just, will you go there ahead of everyone else and do it with some smarts? So I want to pull back the curtain a little bit and show you what else could be available for you, just so you can see the bigger picture. And then we'll come back and talk about phase 1, which is available today. Now, in phase 2, I teach people how to peel off profits from the automations and things that we're doing and stash them away in places where you can earn mega returns, 10%, 15%, 18%, sometimes more, okay? That's taught in DeFi Secrets. I also teach you how to operate in the decentralized finance area of this Web 3.0 that we're beginning to step toward. That's interesting because much of what we have done, throughout our life has been with traditional centralized organizations, be it a bank or an exchange or what have you. Those are always run by people and they do it for profit, and there's costs of operations and all of that. And as a result, we often end up with the short end of the stick. I mean, it's one way of explaining why when you put money in a bank, you wait a whole year and you get 0.5%. I mean, where did all the money go? All right, because you know good and well that if you put the money in there, that 0.5% is not really what they're making on that. It's just they're only giving you a pittance. Well, in the decentralized area, you get rid of all of the profit motives of that we see in traditional finance, and then the money flows back to us. It's a really interesting thing. So I'll show you how to work the chains and do the wallets and all of that in phase 2. In phase 3, I teach something that sounds unusual, but it's not. It's called rebalancing. Rebalancing is something that I promise you, if you have a money market or many other financial investments that are out there in the traditional world, they're being rebalanced. And all that means is that they take the assets that are in your portfolio and they shuffle them in a special way so that it helps you to continue to be in a good position to earn gains. Now, in crypto, it's really quite different, though, because it's so volatile. Very few people do rebalancing in crypto. But I started exploring this a couple of years ago. It's been tremendous. And what I like about it is it allows us or you to invest in swaths of the crypto space. In other words, crypto is not just about Bitcoin and making money and all that. It's also about real world things. It's about art. It's about music. It's about sports. It's about medicine. It's about infrastructure. It's about everything. Education. There is crypto and solutions, applications, and protocols out there that are helping solve all of mankind's problems in ways that are fair, transparent, because they're on the blockchain, and it's a really good thing. This is an industry, a space that you can be proud to be a part of. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't scammers and cheats and FUD, which is fear, uncertainty and doubt that you see in the newspapers and on social media all the time. All that stuff's going on, but it's going on with fiat currency as well. In other words, the real dollar bills, it goes on there only probably 1,000 times more. But I help you to navigate that. But rebalancing is a way that you can invest and always know that you're benefiting from the winners. I own tokens across the entire space, and it's, again, a do-nothing strategy through rebalancing. I show that in phase 3. Now, phase 4 is something that we recently rolled out a few weeks ago for the first time. These are advanced master level strategies that get layered on top of what I teach you in phase 1. Meaning you do phase 1 and you have to actually get in there and do it for a few months. Then there are some other strategies that begin to take shape and become applicable. And I teach that in phase 4 that can kick profits and safety up even more. And that too becomes an asset as part of the plan. So there's a lot here, and we just keep going. I know you guys have heard about NFTs and there's liquidity pools and all of that stuff. It can be exciting, it can be scary, but wouldn't it be good if somebody that's got some money and has been down this road before risked his money, tested the waters first, and then came back to you and said, hey, here's the sweet spots. There's 101 ways you can go out there and try it yourself, but I've already tried them. Here are the ones that are working. Here are the ones that are safer. And here's how I suggest that you do it. That's the bargain. That's what I'm offering people. I love doing this. If you can't tell it, I'm sitting here thinking, gosh, am I rambling on and on and on? You're either interested or you're not, okay? Now, we're only going to be offering phase 1 right now, and we're going to circle back and talk about that. But we've recently added this exclusive bonus, okay, that's managed by me and Tony and our research team to help you in picking the coins that you put into these grids. And I'm going to have Jason pop in here and share this with you, and then I'll come back, we'll wrap up, and then we'll open up to your questions. Jason.
Thank you so much, Dan. And this is called Coin Pair Research. You won't see it on the page when you go to sign up for the plan here, phase 1. You're going to get this, though. This is an extra special bonus for you, where Dan's research team, who follows the exact same formula and system that you will follow to find your own coins and run bots on them, they've done the research, and they do this several times per month. And they say, hey, listen, here's the coins that meet the criteria. And here's the exact settings that you would plug into the bot and run them if you were following the plan that the way that Dan runs his own bots. And so we're talking 24 minimum settings per month that we publish, a total of 48 that you're going to get access to at the very least. We almost always exceed that every single month. So this is a way not only to learn how to fish when you take the plan here today, you're also going to be given the fish. Now, after 60 days of access to this, then if you wish to continue, you will pay $300, and members pay $300 to have continual access to this. Now, let me let you in on a little secret. Not a lot of them use this because it's so simple to do it on your own that this is just a nice thing to have in your back pocket. However, for some of you, when you start, this is going to be the thing that makes you most comfortable. And that's what we want. We want to give you the additional resources possible to stack the deck in your favor. So that's the coin pair research bonus. Again, it's not going to be mentioned on the page when you go to checkout, but know that if you sign up before this offer does expire, then you will get this. So Dan's going to come back and give you some more of the specific details of this bonus. Dan?
Okay, you will get the complete settings. There's about 7 little data points that you have to enter in. It takes about 5 or 10 minutes to set up a new automation. You click the button and then you go live life, okay? It's fun in the beginning. You can watch the little dots on the screen. Even your kids will like it. It's kind of a cool thing. And then after a while, you probably get bored with it and you can start doing things. That's what I've done. This is done by our research team, by me, by Tony. We're not looking for moonshots like everybody else. We're just looking for stuff that's wiggling, okay? You know, the moon only comes up once a day, but there's wiggle worms everywhere, all right? We're finding those and we're sharing them with you. I will, in the training, also show you how you can do this yourself. I like doing it myself, and many of our members do, because it allows you to learn a little bit more about the coins and what's behind them. It's fascinating. It takes about 15 or 20 minutes to do it yourself. We always put these things into demo mode first to make sure we actually, have a demo mode. I'll talk more about that in a moment. These things will work across multiple exchanges. That's why we're in 130 countries now. All of the big exchanges work with the software. I do want to underscore again, this is not our software. This is a third-party software by a company that's been around a long time, high-end developers, brilliant mathematicians that put this together. And I have worked to develop the formulas that allow the software to work. Now, everything you get's copy, paste ready, simple as can be. Now, in addition to that, I wrote a book, got it right here. This book was written by myself and a couple of team members, in fact, team members that you actually know because I introduced you earlier. It's called One Coin, Two Coin, What Coin, Bitcoin. And this is a book that it's for adults, but it's written to make crypto child's play. It's not exactly the plan. It's more like a prequel to the plan. And specifically, it will help you to own board capital if you're brand new to crypto so that you can know how to pick an exchange and get it into the exchange and, all the stuff that's necessary. It's not hard. It's illustrated by a New Yorker magazine illustrator. We've made it really, really fun. Also, this is a book where if you already have some crypto, but maybe it's just sitting someplace, you bought it because everybody else was, but you never really quite knew what to do. This will also help you to make some decisions about any crypto you already hold, if you would like to put it in a better position to benefit as you go forward. So that's in the member area. It's also at Amazon. It's a bestseller over there, but you can get it in the member area, free, download it as soon as you guys get in there. Now, the authors, you already know these folks. It's me, it's Daniel, and it's Elaine. It's my first 2 students. They're on the call right now. I know some of you have asked questions and they've answered. These guys know this plan as well as I do. They're here to help you guys. In fact, our entire team, 50 plus people, can you believe that? Will make sure that every single question you submit to us gets answered. It'll get answered so fast you'll wonder what all these others, why do these other people even call them help desk? It's just nuts. Anyway, we're very proud of that. So let's talk about this. How do you get started? $3,497 is how much it's going to cost you to gain this knowledge. If you need a little wiggle room, pardon the pun, we will break it into 4 payments of $997. That's it. That's out of the way. In a moment, I'm going to cover the other costs that you need to be considered in order to do this, but that gets you a member's seat and you get everything. Now, the training sessions are professionally recorded. They're in modules so that you can go at this at your own pace. This is as low risk and as high reward as you're going to find in crypto because I built it for myself. I've talked about our support. You know, it's extreme support. It's there for you. It's good. Now let's talk about whether this is for beginners or pros. If you're a beginner, you are in luck because you're coming to me with a blank slate. Your mind is open to whatever I might say. And as a result, I can just teach a new dog the new tricks and all's well. If you've been doing crypto a while, you may be tainted a little bit by some of the things you've heard elsewhere. Now, I'm not saying they're wrong. It's just a different way that most people are doing it, all right? I would recommend that you set aside some of that knowledge and just come to me with a blank slate and try what I'm doing and see how it works for you. I think you'll be delighted. You can then later merge back in some of the knowledge that you've learned elsewhere, and perhaps that will help you. But the point is that this is different. And I found personally that the baggage I had, you know, even myself, it took a little while to get out. I mean, there's just something about human nature where we want to pretend that we can buy something with a Nostradamus-like, you know, predictive, you know, ability, which none of us have, and that we're going to luck out and be that one person that, you know, catches, you know, some meme coin to the moon. You know, newspapers have a tendency to publish two stories. Market's crashing, everybody's hiding under their bed, and 13-year-old enters crypto and in 2 hours makes $1 billion. I mean, those are the two stories you get. We're right in the middle, okay? It's neither of those, okay? And we're right in the middle, and I can show you if you give me a blank slate, okay? You've got to learn. You're going to be colorblind, okay, by the time you're done with me. The cool part is I'm going to teach you my do nothing strategy. You're going to love it. You're going to want to do something, but I'm going to keep telling you the best thing is to do nothing. So you go through the training. In fact, I'm going to map out a blueprint in just a second here. Now, a couple of points that are really important. At all times, 100% of your capital will be in your control. It's going to be at your exchange. And you can pick whatever exchange you want, okay? And you can withdraw it. You can pause it. You can stop. You can do whatever you want. In other words, you're not giving your money to us. We don't have access. We don't have your passwords. It's the third-party software doesn't either. It's you, it's your money, your crypto, your exchange. That's important. Next, you're not going to be taught how to trade. You don't have to be a trader. There's no big learning curve here. You'll be able to go through the training and get right into setting up these grids as quickly as you would like. You just have to have the ability to follow some simple rule sets. However, you will have to have software. That's what is going to free up your time. There's no way to do this manually. The software is going to run around $69 a month to run 5 automations. That's where almost everybody starts. Later, if you want to run more automations, you can run up to 20. You will not need ever to run more than 20. If you want to do that, it's $150 a month. And again, third-party pricing, you know, we just show you the magic formulas, but that's the software. Now, let me give you a warning, and please listen to me here. There are many people that hear me talk, and they go, hey, you know, I got a clever idea. I don't need to pay Dan $3,497 because I can just go and find some software that's going to do some grids for me. And that's really the secret. Well, I got to tell you a couple things. Number one, I ran this software with Tony for about 6 months and lost money. In fact, it was so bad that Tony and I gave up and we said, screw this. It wasn't working. And then some time passed, a few months, I decided I would revisit it, tried some new ideas, and I stumbled upon the secret. If you go there, boy, I'll tell you, I hope you're, you know, willing to put some money in it. I have put over $5 million through automations, you know, at this point. I've done over 10,000 of these things, and it's not as easy as you think. Let me give you another analogy. If you think you can just go get software and that's going to be the magic bullet, let's get out of crypto for a minute. Let's pretend you're an author or you're wanting to write a best-selling book. Let's say that I was Stephen King and I was teaching you how to write a best-selling book. And then suddenly you realize that I'm using Microsoft Word. So you're thinking, I don't need Stephen King. I'll just go get Microsoft Word because that's the trick. You just get the software, you boot it up and you start hacking away on your keyboard and boom, you got a bestseller. Do you see how silly that is? So what I'm teaching you is what I learned through trial and error, and I put a lot of money into this, and it didn't work for a long time. I figured out, and that's what I'm sharing with you, okay? I've made it simple so you can get in there and not have to worry about that part of it. Finally, and this is really cool, throughout the training, you're going to do this in demo mode. That's what we recommend. And the reason is because we would rather you get behind the wheel of the car and teach you in a simulator so that you don't crash in a ditch. We want you to learn how to drive first. So you will do this with play money. It's fun. And you'll make money, you might lose some money, whatever, but you're going to get to do it with zero risk. And at some point you'll say, okay, I got it, Dan. Now that I've done this and I've followed what you're suggesting, I understand how the plan works. Now I'm ready to go in with my real money. Okay? I don't want you guys to lose money. I want you to understand the full scope of what we're doing here so that you can have a true plan for crypto. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing if you do it right. It is devastating if you do it wrong. And those are your choices. So you either don't do it at all, or you do it with a plan, but don't just willy-nilly jump into it, because you'll be a part of that losing 95%. So that's demo mode. Now, this is it, folks. This is your first few bricks in that yellow brick road. I'm going to go through the whole thing. There's 9 bricks here, and I want you to print this or screenshot it or something when I get to the end, because whether you want to do this or you may not have decided right now. Okay, take your time. But once you have decided, these are going to be those first few steps to get you going. All right? So don't screenshot it yet, but at the end, you're going to screenshot this, okay? Now, step number 1, you join the course. We're going to send you an NDA and a user agreement. You're going to read through that. If everything's okay, you sign it, you send it back, and we will guarantee you a seat. There are only a limited number of people we're bringing on right now. The way we do this is we bring on a certain number of people. Myself and my team, we work with those people, and we're not out selling, okay? We're not bringing in more students. We're working with our members, and we open the doors ever so often to bring in new members as we are prepared to do that. If the agreement's good, you sign it and you're good. If you don't like the agreement, then hey, you just tell us I don't like this, and we send you your money back. Once you have a seat though, it's yours. There is not a refund at that point. So take your time and understand. You'll then log into the member area. The first thing I want you to do is to make a beeline over to our Getting Started guide and also to the book, the 1 coin, 2 coin, what coin, Bitcoin, this book here. Between the Getting Started guide or the companion guide and the book, you'll have everything you need to know in order to get yourself set up. Now, you can go any speed you want. There's no rush. Even if you're so busy right now, you can't really get going for a couple of months, that's fine. Okay, you can kind of casually come in there and whatever speed. Some people just want to put pedal to the metal and go for it, okay? That's fine. You will learn in these guides and through our help how to find an exchange, how to set up an exchange, how to onboard your investment capital. Next step, you're going to use the link that is in the guide in order to get the software. We will show you how to set it up. It takes 2 copy-paste in order to connect the API so that the software is communicating with your exchange. Now, this software can never touch your money. It just manages these automations. That's all it does, okay? And you will go into that, you'll set it up, and you're ready to go. Next, you're gonna watch the recordings. They're already in the member area. I just recently did them. They're in nice modules so that you can watch in chunks and really understand this. It's not hard, you'll enjoy it. You'll be amazed at how simple it is, but I really go in and explain things in great depth because it's nice to know, you know? It's like to drive a car. You don't have to know how the engine works, but it is interesting if somebody pops the hood and says, hey, you know, this is the carburetor, and this is the whatever. I don't even think there is a carburetor in cars anymore, but you know what I mean. Somebody just point out a few things. You know, if you need to put some water in there for your windshield wiper, that's where it goes, okay? And so be it. I'm not going to tell you the story about my wife putting oil in the windshield wiper thing. That's another thing. But anyway, God, I hope she didn't hear that. All right, now, after that, if you have questions, if you need help, we're going to be there for you, okay? We will answer your ticket with a professional answer fast. Next, you're going to set up the automations based on what I teach you, and these will be done with play money, no risk. And you're going to be able to play, and have all the fun you want for as long as you want. And the only bad part is if you do make money, and it's likely you will, it's going to be play money. But at some point along the line, you'll be able to say, hey, I get it. And you can then make your own decision at your own pace to put in your real money. Now, we will tell you the coin pairs that you can use through our CPR that Jason talked about earlier. And I will also show you how to do your own research. It takes about 20 minutes, as I said, and that's a lot of fun as well. And I think most people actually do it the old-fashioned way, doing their own research because it's so much fun. But you have the choice. After that, once you feel comfortable, you'll be able to put your money in, real money. And I have found with my formulas that 3,000 is a good starting point, meaning that you're going to take 3,000 of your capital that will interact with the automation. Now, you're not buying a bot, you know, with $3,000. What you're doing is the bot is going to work with your investment capital that stays in your exchange, and it's going to start to make these little buys and little sales, and little buys and little sales, and it's going to start making you the nickels and dimes and quarters that we've been talking about. Okay, it takes about $3,000 to have the formula work the way I think it should, okay? In fact, the way it seems to be best, okay? Could you put less in? Yeah, there are some people out there that say you can do it, but I'm just gonna tell you that it's riskier if you do that. The formula works. If you wanna put more in, you can. You can run 5,000 bots, you can run 10,000 bots. I had a student recently said, hey, this is funny, but said, I've got $10 million. Could I start 10 bots with $1 million in each? And the answer is yes, okay? And indeed, that's what they indicated that they're doing. So that's important. Next, you're going to set your goals. You're going to follow the plan. You're going to ignore the skeptics, the FUD, again, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, your well-meaning relatives and what have you. If you have a loved one, spouse, whatever, that is kind of skeptical of this, have them listen to this recording, okay? And don't do it unless both of you agree, okay? I'm not trying to trick you into crypto. I'm trying to say, hey, I'm here. I'm glad to help you if you want to do it. That's what I'm trying to do. I want to make sure that, you know, things are good at home. That's important. Next, you're going to snowball your results. And finally, do nothing. Do nothing. Now it's time to print. Either print this and, you know, tape it on your monitor or whatever, but these are the first few golden bricks in that yellow brick road to Emerald City. That's what this is. Now, our member area, we're very proud of it. I just want to give you a quick view of it. Professional videos for everything that we do. Everything is in these nice little chunks and modules. We have a step-by-step area so that if you watch the video and then you want to be able to step through it, we have all the screenshots of every little detail. You've never seen anything. We have poured our blood, sweat, and tear into this. And also, get this, I have done this now in beta mode, I think 4 times. You know, and so what you're getting is the results of all of that. In other words, we had a first group that got on board, you know, a year ago, and then another group, and then another group, and we've been perfecting and making this better and better. This is worthy of a Nobel Prize at this point. It is really, I think, the best crypto program that's on the market right now. Okay, we're sincerely trying to help people. If you want to join, the link is theplan.vip/join. But hang on, there's more to look at. Again, $3,497 is your investment. Again, you're investing in yourself. We have a payment plan to do that. Some people do this, and then they let some of the wiggle that comes in from their automations help cover the future payments. That's a possibility. The automation software I mentioned earlier, $69 a month, will get you 5 spots so that you can set up to 5 automations with the software. And then we recommend each automation has a minimum of 3,000. So that lays out the financial side of this. There is nothing else. That's it. This is it. Okay. There's no way other than a little bit of time going back and forth with the agreements and then providing access for you. So I want to thank you. I really do. Remember back when I started, the lady, her husband, he's a skydiver, and how worried she was because he fell out of the plane, but he had his parachute on, but he hit the ground before it opened. But luckily they hadn't taken off. Well, guess what? You haven't taken off either. The risk is pretty low for you guys. This is as good of a time as it could possibly be, in my opinion. And if there's ever been a time for a plan, perhaps it's time for the plan. So I'm going to pass it back over to Jason, and we're going to stay here until we answer all of your questions. And again, I look forward to working with you. If you'd like some help, I'm here. And other than that, it's all yours, Jason.
Thank you so much, Dan. So we have a ton of questions because we did go a little long today, about 2 hours into this. So thank you for being patient with us. We are going to get to them already that we've listed and noted, and all the ones that come in now. So we're going to do our best to help you decide if this is something that makes sense for you right now or not. Remember, you get that bonus, that 2-month of the coin pair research done for you. I'm going to show you a little bit more about that in a bit. And after about 5 or 10 minutes of answering questions, I got a special surprise for you. Something that you're going to really like. If you're going to sign up for the plan, you're going to get something extra special that we've never publicly mentioned or offered before until today. So hang in with me on that. We're going to talk about that here after we answer some of these questions that have been burning up in the chat. Okay. First question, is it set not to trade if the fees are more than the profits? Yes, that's a fantastic question. You are not allowed to do that. So this system takes into account all of the fees and everything you've seen already. All of the open examples that you saw, you saw probably 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 open active bots running by our beta 1 members today. And that's after all the fees have been counted for. So if you're in like somehow, some way, you get in the worst exchange possible with the highest fee, and it says, listen, this is going to cost you more in fees than you'll make on the wiggle, it won't allow you to do that. So that's a great question. I'm glad that you brought that question up. The answer is that takes it into account for you. The reality is we also help you by breaking down and explaining why different exchanges have different fee structures. We demystified it in a way that you don't see it broken down anywhere else by the exchanges or by anywhere else. We're also giving away money too. They just reminded me of that. That's kind of an important deal. So we're going to give away some money here. We're going to give away all the money that we have here in a bit as well. But let's answer some more questions. Do I need to open an account at a brokerage company to trade this? What you need is an exchange. Ultimately, ideally, I want you in multiple exchanges if it's at all possible. But at first, you need an exchange. And an exchange is simply a way for you to exchange whatever your currency is that you use now, whether it's the pound, the dollar, the yen, the euro, whatever the case may be, with crypto. Now, once you exchange it in crypto, then you can exchange it from one type of crypto to another type of crypto just by copying and pasting a string of text, essentially. And so that's really easy. And then if you have certain different exchanges, they have different perks and they have different bot capabilities in terms of certain exchanges have these coins and other exchanges have those coins. So you're going to ultimately, ideally, be in a couple different exchanges that are compatible with the software running it. How many trades are made per second or minute? The answer to that is as many as possible, because the more trades that we can make, the more money our bots make. So the bot plays on that volatility. Now, sometimes the markets are more volatile than at other times. Right now, the market is less volatile. I'm going to say that again because I know that sounds kind of weird. What I mean by it's less volatile is it's kind of sunk. Now, it's going to swim back to the top and then it's going to go to the sky again. That's what markets do. They go up and they go down. We really love the markets that are sideways, that are not going skyrocketing to the moon or not dropping like a rock to the ground. Because those tend to have the most opportunity for our bots to trade very fast. So when you saw the bots today, they are trading, at least historically, since we started doing this with those members 11 months ago, a little slower than normal. But here's why I find that exciting. A little slower than normal means, say that bot is only trading to the point where it makes you a 0.1% return per day on that bot. Did you know that that's 36% a year? 36.5 to be specific, if it always traded at that rate. For us in a down market, that's a quote unquote lower rate. But still, that's a better rate than I'm getting where all my other money is at, because I'm diversified and Dan teaches diversifications. You should be in multiple asset classes if you have the capabilities to do so. So what we love is that sometimes the bots are really wiggling and sometimes they're wiggling a little bit, but there's always wiggle to be had. And at the same time, if you're buying it right now and holding on to it, so you still hold it while these bots are wiggling out profits, you still have that asset. Just like while you're renting the apartment, you still own the apartment building. Over the long term, if you believe crypto is the future like we do, then you're getting paid while you wait at the red light. That's what Dan is talking about. But that's a fantastic question. Latchlin asks, confirm, so the money invested stays the same and the money made you can take out, but your investment still plays in the wiggle. If I'm understanding you correctly, Latchlin, that's pretty much the way that it is. What we mean by that is the bot is capturing money and pulling it out of the market and keeping it aside in your exchange, where it's basically pegged at the dollar. So it's not going to swing up and down like Bitcoin. It's just going to say, like, if the bot collected $120 today, it's going to be $120 tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day, the next day. Now, you could take that money, you can put it back in to new bots or in other investments. You can take that money out completely, though, and go buy a nice bottle of wine or whatever you want to do with it. It is fully realized and that's yours. Now, the bot that you're powering the crypto with, that crypto stays in. So the top coin, this is why we have a coin pair, right? The top coin stays in the market and it goes up when the market goes up and it goes down when the market goes down. This is why you're seeing red on one side and green on the other side. Wait until the market rallies. When you see double greens, that's when everybody feels so good and so happy with themselves. Now, what we really know is you can't have green without red. You just can't. So the markets will go up, the markets will go down. What's cool, though, is you're hodling. You're holding that coin just like you would hold an apartment building. And you say, I think the real estate market's going to go up 10, 15 years from now, 5 years from now, even a couple of years from now. So that's what you're really playing to. But while you're waiting for the value to go up, because it takes it a while to do that, you're making the wiggle. Now, let's just be very clear with each other. Do you always make the wiggle? No. What you'll see is at certain times, your bots will fall out of range. What does that mean? What does falling out of range mean? It means that Dan trades safely. He designs a plan that's safety first before anything else. That's the primary cornerstone of the system that Dan designs. And so if the coin drops too fast, too soon, we say, hold on a second. We're going to sit on the sidelines for a little bit while it gets its sanity about it. Because we don't want to just keep buying in, all the way down in little chunks. So we wait for it to correct itself. That's a safety precaution. I think that that's smart. So there will be times where you will not be capturing the wiggle. If you saw some of the examples and paid attention from Dan earlier, you'll see coins right now that are out of range from some of our members. But yet they've had them running for 8 months. So they've been in range, they've been out of range, they've been in range. But if you total them up, you see bot returns of 40%, 50%, 60%, 70%, 80%, 90%, 100+%. You saw those today. They were shown right in front of you. So it's not always going to be in range, but nonetheless, there is ample cash flow opportunity. There is obviously the opportunity for the coin to go up, which eventually it will. And at the same time, you have a structure and a system that is safety first. But can you take profit at any time, Frederica asks? Yes, you can, absolutely can. Now, if you were to sell your investment when it's in the red, you would realize and lock in a loss on the coin itself. But the bot profit is still yours free and clear. Now, if the bot profit is less than the loss you make in the coin, then overall you've lost in that coin. And that can happen from time to time. That's generally why members don't sell when they're in the red, because they're playing the long-term game. Fidelity once did a study, and they studied investors between 2003 and 2013 in their investment. And what they discovered is there was two types of investors that did better than anybody else. The first type were dead. So dead investors performed the best. The second type of investors were inactive investors, meaning they changed jobs and they never logged into their 401k again or updated it. And they just let it do itself, whatever it did. So they hodled for 10 years without being able to do anything about it. And they outperformed everybody else. So hodling is a very valid strategy. The challenge is it's hard for people to look red. You're looking death straight in the eyes and you're trying to have nerves of steel. The way we counteract that, this is why I love the plan so much. It's one of the many great benefits. It's not the only one, but it's one of the awesome ones, is it's easier to hold when you have cash flow opportunity. And that's what's really powerful about that. And again, the cash flow can allow you to compound it and create more bots. So even if you start with a little, you can build it up to even more. Okay. Now, people have asked, a couple of people ask a variation of this question where they essentially say, I only have the capital right now to invest in the plan, but not also to run my first bot yet. Should I invest? And the answer to that is yes. And I'll tell you why. If you want this, you should sign up because there's a demo mode. And the demo mode gives you $1 million in pretend money to play and mess around with the system. So you can learn the system, you can run the bots. And so then when you do have capital to go live with it, you already have all this track record in demo mode of what wiggled the best. Now, past performance is not indicative of future performance, but it's an indicator. It's something to consider. And you've had the reps. What I've discovered is many people who said, I don't have the money yet, Jason, to start a bot. Once they run demo mode, all of a sudden they magically find the money to start a bot. Because what they do is they see their bots running in demo mode and they're like, man, that would have been real profit if it was live. And so if that's the motivation that takes you to start benefiting from this, I'm okay using that. The plan.vip/join is where you go to sign up. And then also, remember, when you go and sign up, there's the coin pair research where the research team follows the exact system that Dan trains you on. And then they go and they're always scouring every day the coin opportunities that meet that criteria and publishing them. They said, hey, this meets that opportunity. This is the grid range. So you put in this number here, this number here, this number here, and then you push go. And it's literally copy and paste at that point in time. Juan asked, does it make more than the inflation? Yeah, pretty much it does. Nothing is guaranteed all the time 100% to outpace inflation. But boy, crypto as a general rule is an unbelievable great usage of inflation, a hedge against inflation. That's why most billionaires turn to crypto as a hedge against inflation. But even better, your money sitting in a savings account is losing. It's like having rats break in and chewing away at the edges of your dollar bills or your currency, whatever you have. So you got to do something to outpace inflation. And this is one of the other reasons we love the wiggle. It's a good way to utilize cash. In a safe way, we feel. Now, obviously, everything has inherent risk to it. Crossing the street is risky, right? And this is why we like the safety first approach, because we want to be in crypto, because crypto overall has outperformed every other asset class in the last decade. And crypto has the opportunity to disrupt several different industries and replace these old horse and buggy mechanisms that exist right now with automations and smart contracts and blockchains and decentralization and things like that, which is completely revolutionary. So we kind of want to be in that market for when it does tip, which it hasn't done yet, believe it or not. We're like, okay, cool. We're outside when it's raining money, so we can catch some of that as opposed to inside locked in our bunker. Okay, Steve says, I have a small portfolio in Coinbase that is just half in the space of a few days. Yeah, that does happen, right? And it sucks. It's half on paper in terms of what you have available now to do something with. Am I able to transfer that to my exchange to start using that rather than as a cash investment? Yeah, so I use Coinbase personally to convert my dollars into cryptocurrency. Now, me personally, and this is just me, it's not a recommendation to you, I don't use Coinbase itself as the exchange to run my bots, because I can get the same benefits of Coinbase in these automations in other exchanges that have lower fee structures that do exactly the same thing. I like Coinbase because it's an easy way to move my money in and my money out. But I have a different exchange that I run my automations and my bots for. Now, you might find it makes sense for you to do it in one exchange or a different exchange. What's great is we have a whole companion guide that you can go through that analyzes the pluses and minuses, the ins and outs of all the major exchanges that connect with these automations. And we're in 130 countries. So I don't think we're at a short list of experiences and what people have encountered when they're running these automations. I think we could take care of it. Tony says, why sell the training for 10K? This was a very early on question, but I saw it pop up and I wanted to really bring this to you. When we initially tested this, here was the premise, just so you know the full story, is I said to Dan, because I'm like a very cynical person when it comes to opportunity. If it meets the 56 requirements of threshold I have to get behind it, then I like it, but it's a hard road to the top. It's like climbing Mount Everest. And so one of the things I said to Dan immediately is I said, cool, Dan, you showed all your business friends the system personally one-on-one, but those are your friends and they're already successful in business. Could we sell complete strangers and teach and get results for complete strangers who don't know you from Adam? So we said, let's find that out. And then I said, okay, and let's charge them for it. That way we have people that show up that are ready to do the work. And so we had people pay $10,000 for that experience to do one-on-one with Dan. Now, to teach them the whole system was about 4 hours of time, of Dan's time each. That goes to show you, because there's a lot of other questions I saw floating around. How quickly can I do this? 4 hours in general. Now, if you're a little slower, take about 6 hours. If you're super slow, maybe 8 hours to run the bots. Now, Dan's going to teach you all sorts of other really cool stuff independent of that. But in terms of, if you just want to straight up learn how to get the bots up and going, 4 to 6 hours, okay? And so he taught them that, the 10K, and then we had the results, or what we should say their statuses, because nothing's a result until it's complete, said and done, ball game over, go home, here's the final score. But we had the status and we had the ability then to go show people, hey, listen, Dan showed these people, and here's what they did. Now, you don't have to pay $10,000. You can invest $34.97 or $9.97 today, followed by 3 more installments of the same when you go to the plan.vip/join and sign up. And you get more. It's been documented. It's been stress tested. There's additional resources involved. There's a whole support team behind it. So you essentially, you didn't get an immediate first mover advantage. So you didn't get as much wiggle. They got a 9 or 10 month jump head start on you when it came to wiggling, right? But they paid for that and they didn't have it in as organized and supported system as you have it here today. But just like them, here's how it works for you. We extend the opportunity for a short period of time. We get people in, then we close the doors because we want to spend only about 10% of our time marketing the plan. And we want to spend about 90% of our time supporting the members of the plan. And hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to answer the tax question. And then I'm going to reveal something pretty incredible to you. At least I think this is really incredible. The new announcement of something that you're going to get if you sign up that nobody has heard about before or that we've ever offered publicly before. So let's talk about the taxes first, okay? Taxes is an interesting situation because generally the way that taxes work is if you make money, you're probably going to pay taxes on it. It's almost a universal thing that exists out there. Now, maybe you're in some country where that doesn't exist, or maybe you know some strategy that maybe is legal. I don't know. But my thing is the more money I make, the more taxes I pay. It's always been that way and it will always continue to be that way. So yeah, we hope you pay more taxes than you've ever paid before in your life. And that will mean that you have made more money than you've ever made in your life. Now, here's the reality of the taxes. You're going to have a whole bunch of transactions, and every single one of those will be part of your buying and selling, that high frequency trading. So each one of those is a taxable event. Now it's taxed at whatever the rate that it's taxed at. Just think of whatever you would make in your normal income, that it's taxed at that rate. It'll be somewhere around there. It will never, by the way, be more than the profit you make. It will never be more than that, at least in any circumstance we've ever seen thus far in 130 countries. But here's what's really good about that. Whatever exchange you work at or you work with or use, they account for every single transaction. You can just download it. There's a spreadsheet of that. So it's not like I had a business lunch today, which reminds me, I didn't send this to my assistant yet. I didn't have to snap the receipt. I took a picture of the receipt. Now I got to email her the receipt, and then I got to tell her who specifically I was having a business lunch with to make it a tax deduction for me. So you got to track all of these transactions with business the old school way still. All of this stuff, it's all digital. Now, we do have resources that we will point you to on different software that you could consider using and different things to be aware of that are provided by actual crypto tax experts who do this for a living professionally. So if you're concerned about what should I do when I have these taxable events, we have you covered. We will point you to the proper resources to help you out there. But first things first, make the money. And then secondly, when the tax time comes to arrive, you'll be prepared for that. All right. And again, we have resources that will help you out with that. So hopefully that makes sense, but never let the fear of your own shadow stop you from going outside. Go out into the sunshine first, make the money. And then once it's all said and done, whatever you pay, you pay. You pay it out of profit though, and you have some left over. So hopefully that makes sense. All right. I want to draw your attention now to something that Dan mentioned earlier when he says we have additional phases that will be available in the future. Phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. I want you to specifically think about phase 4. These are advanced bot strategies. So what Dan's concept was, we're going to show you phase 1. We're going to get you up and running in bots. We're going to get you some experience with bots. Then I can show you DeFi, then I can show you staking. And then after that, we'll circle back around and do some of this other advanced bot stuff. Now, let's be very clear about advanced. Advanced doesn't mean that it's harder. The phase 4 stuff is arguably, probably easier. It's just more situational. Once you have some bots up and running, once you've done it for a little bit, say like a month or so, maybe 2 months, you now have data, you now have experience, you now have situations that you can leverage further that you didn't have before. That's when phase 4 becomes incredibly powerful. And especially in markets like this, does phase 4 really shine. Now, here's the thing. When we do anything in the plan, like phase 1 here today, you heard Dan mention this earlier. He talked about that we beta tested it first. So we beta tested it one-on-one, and then we beta tested it in a group, and we did it 3 times before we released the final product. Now, why do you think we did it that way? I'll tell you why. Because you never really know what makes the product the best possible product until you put it in front of real human beings and observe it. And then you adjust it, you adapt it, you put it back in front of real human beings, and you iterate, and you evolve it, and you optimize it. Not in the laboratory of what you think is best, but in the real world with real people going through it. So we beta test everything before we release it to the general public. So phase 4, we were finally able to beta test it and get it done, get it out there. And we just officially released it at the end of April. So people just were able to finally see it just like 3 weeks ago, something along those lines. And the feedback on it is unbelievable. It is astounding. It is incredible. It is mind-blowing. And so guess what? Phase 4 has a retail value of the same price that all of our phases go through. Right now, all of our phases are $34.97. That's just what we went with. Hey, this is a good number. It seems to work. It seems to attract the right type of people with the right type of mindset. It helps us support with, our 50 plus support agents and our infrastructure and our overhead and everything. It makes sense. That's a $34.97 retail value. Guess what? Yours free. We're going to give that to you as an additional extra special bonus. Phase 4 is yours 100% free as a bonus as long as you sign up before this offer expires. And that's at theplan.vip/join. So just like the coin pair research, you will not see this on your page, but you will get it. Now, we will not release phase 4 to you immediately. I just want to be very clear with you. We are tentatively penciled in for July 15th, the release of phase 4 for you, because you have to go through phase 1 first, run your automations, get the experience. So then once you have that on July 15th, you will get phase 4 released to you completely free as a bonus. And I think you are going to love it because it's going to take your bots. It's going to even give them more opportunity. But you got to lay the foundation first. So you got to get phase one. You got to go through it and experience it. And then it will just show up. It'll be unlocked for you phase 4 in the members area on that fateful date. The plan.vip/join. Now, why are we offering this as a bonus? Let me tell you why we're offering this as a bonus. There's many reasons. There's not just one reason, but here's my personal favorite reason. Because I am tired of people complaining about the weather. What do I mean by that? They're complaining about the weather. It's storming outside. It's raining outside. It's hailing outside. It's snowy outside. What I mean is the market's down. It's red. It's bloody red right now. The market's down over 50%. And our beta members' portfolios reflect that. But complaining about the weather doesn't change the weather. Would you agree with that? The weather will change, and the weather always change. After spring comes what? Fall. After fall comes what? I don't know. I'm getting them out of control. After spring comes summer. After summer comes fall. After fall comes winter. After winter comes spring again, right? So I would hate for you to sit on the sidelines and say, well, I'll get in when the market gets better. I don't know when that's going to be. Nobody knows. Nobody who's being truthful to you knows when that's going to be. It could go down more. I don't know. The worst thing you could do is be sitting on the sidelines. So I'm tired of people, and I'm not saying it's you. Maybe it's the people that you hang out with, or maybe it's the other people on the outside who aren't willing to show it. They'll complain about everything. You say, well, what are you doing? And they say, oh, I don't know. I can't tell you, right? I don't want you to be your own worst enemy here. I don't want to get you in. I don't want you to get in your own way. And so I'm not above bribes. I do it with my children all the time. I say, hey, go out on this hike with me, and then I'll buy that toy for you. And they say, okay, they think they're getting a good deal, and they don't realize that they're getting activity, they're getting exercise, they're getting a breath of fresh air, they're getting to spend time with dad. I'll bribe them. And then they get in the habit, and they're like, wow, dad, can we do this again? You don't even have to pay me anymore. I'm not above bribes if it means your best interest. If it works for my children, I think it'll work for you. So that's an exclusive bonus as well. That's a fresh, hot off the press bonus for you. Phase 4, you are going to get that. That's a $34.97 value. Yours free on top of the coin pair research, because the time is now to join. The plan.vip/join. That's where you go. That's where you sign up. Now, Will, while I was going through that, I'm sure you were looking at the chat. First of all, because this is so fresh and so new, I want to make sure I explained it in a way that was correct and accurate and reflective of the value of it, and also what you noticed in the chat during that time.
Yeah, so briefly, some questions about why phase 4 is delayed. Phase 4 is delayed because it does not contain strategies that you will use on day 1 or day 2 or week 1 or week 2. You have to be running some bots, at least in demo mode, before you can take advantage of what is taught in phase 4. Phase 4 contains strategies that you will implement when the time is right. And it would be a disservice to you, it truly would be a disservice to you to give you access to that information or those strategies too soon. So Dan has tried this and in the beta period, like Jason explained, and found that you got to be running for about 2 months. You just have to be running for about 2 months. So this is why you won't get it until then, because we don't want to overwhelm you or give you too much information too fast. So let's see.
And you got to have some activity, because you can't
You do not,
leverage something
Sally,
that
you
is
do
easy.
not have to pay for phases 2 and 3 before you implement phase 4. So let's talk about the phase numbers. The phase numbers are just inconsequential. They might as well be named phase blue, phase red, phase green, phase pink, right? It doesn't matter what they are. It's actually, I think we make it more complicated than it needs to be. Every phase is unique. The only 2 phases that are tied together that are about bots are phase 1 and phase 4. The other phases have absolutely nothing to do with the other phases. So phase 2 is completely standalone. Phase 3 is completely standalone. The only thing that is required for you to go to the other phases is that you first go through phase 1. After you go through phase 1, you can implement the other phases out of order. You don't even have to implement any other phases. Other phases are not required in any way, shape, or form. So you can go to phase 4 when you get access to that and learn some additional strategies and techniques and so. And then you can go back and do phase 2 if you desire to do phase 2. And then you can do phase 3 after that. And then when phase 7 comes out, you can do phase 7 or and then come back to phase 2 if you want. It really doesn't matter. All of these phases are standalone and unique courses. Let's see.
Yeah, I have a question here I want to answer, Will, and we're also going to give away money. But this question really kind of struck a nerve with me, right? Not because
just really quick, Celicy says, I joined prior to this webinar. Can I be given the opportunity to get
Yes.
phase 4 for free? Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. If you purchase prior to now, you also get phase 4 for free.
Yeah. We always reward
Jason,
those that
let's
take
give away
action.
money really soon. We have 5 people to give $500 to.
Yeah. So there's a question that really kind of popped out at me, and it's not the content of the question that bothers me so much as what is underneath of it. Here's the question. I'm just going to read it out loud. It says, this seems like a scam. So it's being called a scam. It looks too clean, no mess ups. Now, here's what bothers me about it. It's not the accusation that this is a scam or that it looks like a scam. What really upsets me is that it looks too clean, because that's frustrating to me, because we showed warts and all live portfolios today, and they weren't clean. Would you guys agree with that? Everybody listening here, they were messy. There was a lot of red there. There was like a negative 60% in the value currently of that holding in that portfolio. The wiggle rates were lower than what we normally see, and there were bots that were out of range. To me, that was as fair as anything you could ever show to anybody. You put it on the table and you say, here's what it is, warts and all. And I felt like we did that today. But then to be called too clean is really frustrating. Because did you see what we were showing you, or did you have a lens in which it was blurring the vision there? Because a lot of people, here's the problem with it. They don't want to believe in this, not because it doesn't make sense to believe in it, but because then they would have to do something different than what they're doing now. And what they're doing now may be just putting money in a savings account and just watching it lose value. Or they may not be diversified, or they may only be in crypto without a plan and don't want to admit that having no plan is not necessarily good for them. So they're going to justify whatever they're currently doing and hold on to it for dear life, even if it kills them. You ever heard somebody says, I'm going to figure this out even if it kills me? And then it kills them. Instead, we want a plan. Now, hopefully it became very clear to you as authentically as we possibly can, showing it to you. Now, are we enthusiastic about it? You bet your bottom dollar we are. Are we passionate and excited about this? Yes. This is the thing that I have seen that has helped more people than anything that we've published in recent memory, by far. So am I going to be passionate about that? Am I going to want to serve you and show that to you? You know I am. But to call this clean, to me, is an effrontery of what this is about. This is real. And we show this with real world people who have been with us for 11 months, who continue to stay with us through thick and thin and continue to put more money into it, continue to follow it. I have published over 100 courses or promoted in my life, and I've never, ever seen that before in my life. Now, this is the worst possible market we have seen in a very long time. And where am I at? And where is Dan at? And where is the team at? We're not hiding. We're not trying to tiptoe quietly while you're sleeping, right? We are in the front. We are here with you now. All right. So hopefully that helps. And then you're incentivizing you with phase 4 for free as a bonus, as well as the coin pair research, which is going to give you essentially about 50 picks that all meet Dan's criteria as they pop up in that moment. Because the team is out there combing and researching opportunities quite frequently, day in and day out, week in and week out. The plan.vip/join. As soon as you sign up, you don't get instant access immediately. You'll get instant access when you get in the members area of everything. What happens is when you sign up, we're going to generate a non-disclosure agreement for you. Now, that's not automated. We have to do that manually. So we take your information, we put it into the non-disclosure agreement, and then we send it over to you. Then you will review it. And then if it's to your liking, you sign it. Once you sign it, it comes back to us. We review it and we validate it to make sure that you signed it properly with your name, right? not Donald Duck, but actually you. And then after it's validated, will we send you email access with the members area? Now, why all the secrecy? Well, when you have something this good, you got to protect it. Doesn't that make sense? Just like Coke has their secret recipe or KFC has its secret recipe. This is why we want to maintain the integrity of this only for members of the plan who are willing to follow it under Dan's specific guidance, which is the safest, best, most important, powerful way that you can do it. That's what happens when you go to the plan.vip/join. Hey, Will, should we give away some money now?
We should, Jason. I would like you to answer one question before that, and then we'll just jump right into the money.
All right, sounds
Christopher asks, and this is a question that has come up a few times. What kind of profits or gains can be made in 30, 60, 90 days based on a $3,000 bot?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it will depend. Let me tell you why it will depend. It'll depend on a variety of factors. First of all, different coins at different times will produce different wiggles. If you look at Dan's own coins, or if you look at what we saw on the beta members there's a wide variety of different quote unquote wiggling that takes place. And then of course, in markets that we're in now, generally, not always, we see a little bit less wiggle than we do in other types of markets. So when you say what's the average, it sounds like it's a simple question, but it's a very complicated question, which has, if I oversimplify the answer, I may potentially mislead you. What I would suggest that you do is when you watch the replay to this, pause it every time Dan shows a beta student and take a look at those. And then if you wish to, you could add them all up and you could average them out. And then you could say, this is the average. But if I can, I just want to show something. I'm going to take over the screen here because I built this little thing the other day because somebody was talking to me about this. And I was like, you know what? Let me just, let me take the range of the coins, some of the coins that I had right now. So I didn't have any coin that was wiggling at less than 0.05% a day. You can see them over there. So I took a screenshot the other day of all my coins. So you see them a 0.18% average daily wiggle, 0.08, 0.14%, 0.05, 0.07%, 0.08%, 0.16%, 0.09%, 0.15%. This is the worst market we've seen. And this is what the wiggling is of my coins, the standard bot coins. 0.05 is the worst. So if it wiggled at 0.05% for the next year, that's an 18.25% return. I don't know about you, but I'm extremely happy with that. See, people will go out there and say, oh, listen, I made this 1,000% on this coin, but they don't show you the other 50 coins that they lost more than 1,000% total on. So they didn't make money. If you make money once and lose it 150 times, you lost money. You didn't make money. So we're not taking these huge risks. We're holding coins for the long term, and we're letting the wiggle from the bots collect this. But if we see these other coins, like a 0.15% coin, that's a 54% yearly wiggle. Now, if you go back and you watch what Dan showed you earlier, all those different beta accounts, you will see many that have a 50% return. And in fact, I've had many bots that have done over 50% in less than a year that I've closed out. You say, Jason, why would you close those bots out? I'll tell you, there's three reasons. Reason number one is I switched exchanges. And unfortunately, those coins weren't on the new exchange that I switched to. So I couldn't start them again. I had to close them out. That's okay, right? That's one of the reasons. Reason number two is sometimes the coin goes up so much, you want to just sell it. So, some guy goes to your apartment building and says, man, I'll pay you 3 times what you bought this for. You sell it and you give him the tenant because you know you can go down the street and get another one, another apartment building with another tenant in it. So sometimes you do that. Now, for me, it's less of an issue than for you because I have a lot of capital I can work with. But if you're on a very limited capital set, you may sell and liquidate a position so you can then take the money and put it into 2 bots, turn 1 bot into 2 bots, those kind of things. So you could do that. Here's the third reason. One time I stupidly canceled a credit card that was attached to the software. And so when the bill was hit on that one, it just closed all my bots down and I had to start it. That happened 2 months and 12 days ago. I can tell you that because that's when my bots, all these new bots were set up. And so that really upset me. That really pissed me off because I had way better wigglers than what you're seeing now in the market that we're in right now. So if you want to talk averages, to me, this feels very comfortable, knowing full well, again, you saw before your own eyes today, I was looking at all the beta accounts this morning. Several of them were over 90%, and nobody's ran bots for a year yet because they haven't started in a year's period of time. We're less than a year into this, and we're already in 130 countries. We already have 20,000 people, which is really a drop in the bucket in the crypto world. That's nothing. It's a rounding error. It's a rounding down to zero error. But for us to have that impact this fast as a little small company, just trying to help out the little guy and the little gal, I am very enthusiastic about that. So the plan.vip/join. We'll talk about the coin pair research here in a little bit. Let's give away some money.
Let's do it, Jason. So here's how we're going to do it. Jason is going to ask a question that has a very simple answer. You need to type in the answer in the chat box, and whether you get it right or wrong doesn't really matter, so don't worry about it. You must only type it once. If we later find out through the chat logs that you typed it in more than once to try and win it, increase your chances of winning, you will be disqualified. So you will only answer one time, and we're going to randomly pick. So Jason, what's the question?
95% of the time, what's the best strategy? It's 2 words. Once you get a bot running, what should you be doing 95% of the time? 2 words. Awesome.
Lots of questions coming in. There's a lot of people here still.
Yeah, I see that. I'm excited about that.
We're going to pick 2 people, Jason, who we're going to give, or should we do 3 right now?
Let's do 3.
All right, we'll do 3. So we'll give them another minute. There are too many answers coming up, so I can't see any more questions. I want to give people just another 10 seconds to type it in. If you didn't hear the question, Jason, repeat the question one more time.
The question is this: once you get a bot up and running, what should you be doing 95% of the time? It's a 2-word answer.
Right. Okay. We'll count down from 10 seconds. And again, only answer once, please. Otherwise, you will be disqualified. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to scroll up and down the chat box. I'm scrolling all the way up, all the way down as fast as my Mac will scroll. And I'm scrolling up and down, up and down. Jason, you will tell me when to stop. And whatever name my mouse stops, I'm not even looking what I'm doing.
Okay. Ready, stop.
Okay. Richard RD is the first one. Richard, let me copy his information. What I need you to do, Richard, is I need you to put in the chat box just Richard, nobody else, just Richard RD. Nobody else, please. Richard, I need you to tell me your email address, your best email address, and your best phone number in the chat box, and the team will copy that for me. And this is how we're going to contact you to tell you how we're going to pay out $500 to you. Okay, I'm going to scroll some more, Jason. Just tell me when to stop here.
Stop.
Okay, this wasn't on an answer. I scrolled too much. Okay, tell me again.
All right, ready, stop.
Okay, Nicholas Armenta. Nicholas Armenta, you are the next winner of $500. And Nicholas, if you do the same thing, if you would put in your email address and your phone number, best email, best phone number where we contact you. All right, here I go scrolling again, Jason.
And stop.
Joseph Steiner. Joseph, if you do me a favor again and put in your best phone number and best email address in the chat box for us to contact you. And we have a couple more, Jason, and why don't we wait and give it away in a few minutes?
Yeah, so hang tight. We're going to give away 2 more. We're going to answer some more questions first. When you were ready, go to the plan.vip/join and sign up. Kevin says, on a 4-pay, do I get immediate access? Yes, in the sense of as soon as your NDA comes through and is validated, you'll get this not only immediate access to the members area then, you'll get the same exact experience as anybody who took care of it all at once. And I mean, the only difference is you end up, because you finance it, you pay a little bit more over 4 months than taking care of it all at once, but you get the same bonuses, you get the same release schedule, you get the same access to the office hours, which we didn't even talk about today, which is because we have so much value, you can't explain it all. You got to experience it, right? What is NDA? That's a great question, yes. NDA is non-disclosure agreement. And I'm sorry for using that jargon, because in the business world, we toss around that like everybody knows what we're talking about. Non-disclosure just simply means, and you'll be able to read it when you see it, it says that you're not allowed to go out there and tell people about this formula of Dan's in the plant. Yeah, you can show them your bots. You can talk about how good of a performance they're doing, but you can't tell them the secret recipe, how those bots run, which is there's a bigger lesson here. Some people, not in the plan, but bloggers and clickbaiters and the like, right? They start to say, oh, well, gee, you don't need a course to set up bots. I'll show you how to set up bots. And they give you a bot setting up tutorial. It's not the software. It's not the how to set up a bots that you're investing in. It is the formula. Most people that run bots, they lose money. It's pretty evident. You could look it up. You could read the reviews of these bot softwares, and they're really bad because people are reviewing how much money they lost. They're not reviewing the interface. They're not reviewing how easy it is to let it run and how intuitive it is. No, because the platform that we use is super easy. It's super intuitive. It's as easy as you joining Zoom like you did here today. But they all come out and complain because they lost money. Because it's not the bot setting up process. That is super simple. It's only about 5 inputs, I think, to run a bot. It's super duper easy. It's the formula that makes a difference. And we believe we have the best formula. And so therefore we keep it under lock and key, only available for people that have invested in the plan. Can I get a refund if it didn't work for me? No, you cannot. You can only get a refund when you sign up here today and you review the NDA, the non-disclosure agreement, and the user agreement. You're going to get 2 agreements. And if you don't like them, then we'll release your funds back to you. But once you're in it to win it. See, here's the thing that's really important. If you want your financial situation to change, you have to accept a certain amount of personal responsibility. Unfortunately, people have been misled to believe that an institution is going to take care of you, or your retirement plan is going to take care of it for you. And if you give it to a hedge fund or a mutual fund manager, that they're going to do more with your money than you can do on your own, because they're professionals and they're smart and they do this for a living. So you just hand it over, close your eyes, cross your fingers, and hope they'll take care of you. Well, that's never worked. And we all now know the facade has been lifted on that. That doesn't work. So there has to be a personal responsibility. You have to be committed to this. And so that's the way that we structure it, why we structure it that way. If that's too much for you, then absolutely, it's totally okay for you to sit this out. Nobody has to join this. Nobody has to do anything that they don't want to do. But if you're wondering why, because it might help you understand more of what we're about, then that's why. When you finally invest, say the recommended 3K, Amy asked this, is that enough to buy a coin, or are we buying part of a coin? Great question. So Bitcoin right now is like $30,000. I don't know the price of it because I don't keep track of that stuff. It's not really that important to what we're doing on the planet at the end of the day. But let's just say it's 30K. So if you bought 3K worth of Bitcoin right now, which you can do, you've bought essentially 0.1 Bitcoins. You could buy $3 of Bitcoin if you want. And then I don't know how much of Bitcoin you bought, but it's like 0.0001 Bitcoin. So you can buy fractions of any coin that you want to. Now, the reason why we recommend that you start bots with 3,000 minimum is because that is the safest way to run it. Now, let me be very clear with you. Now, let me talk about how we make money as the publisher. How Dan makes money. We make money through education, through the course, the information provided in this. So we don't get a kickback from any exchange. So if you put 3 million in an exchange or you put $3 in exchange, we get $0 in profit on that. We get nothing on that. Okay. We are an education company. We are a training organization. We are a coaching company. We make our money, and we don't really make it on this investment. We make it because we make people successful, and then they tell their friends. We make it because we make people successful, and then they look at additional phases, none of which are available for you to purchase right now, because we want you to focus on the training first and foremost. That's how we get it. Now, it would be nice. I could definitely sell more courses if I just said to you, hey, listen, just put $30 in one of these automations, because a lot of people can, it's way more palatable for them to run a $30 automation than a $3,000 automation. But that's dangerous. So I would rather risk losing a sell and selling you the reality of it than just trying to say whatever I can to get you to say yes. Think about that spider web analogy that Dan talked about earlier. You know, the spider weaves a net to capture the fly. If that spider's web has giant holes all over it, the flies will go straight through it and there will be no food and the spider will die. That's why it's a 3K minimum. Now, putting in 10K doesn't make your bot any better than 3K. That's just the wiggle amount. Once it hits that threshold, then you're covered. Then you can put more in if you want to. You don't have to, right? It's a great question. You do not need a dedicated computer or any device that has to be on at all once the bots turn on. Once you set the bots to run, you could go on a retreat in a Himalayan cave. For some of you, that might be your best strategy, by the way, because then you wouldn't be tempted to fiddle with it, to tweak it, to touch it. That would be the ultimate do nothing strategy, because the computer is going to do better. In that sense, I mean, the automation is going to do better for you than anything you could do to manually mess with it. But yeah, once you get it running, it's in the cloud. And so, yeah, you could turn the computer off and never turn it back on again until you wanted to check it 3 months later, and that thing will just keep running for you, right? Amy says, I sense that it's different, but could you explain how this is different than short selling in the stock market? Yeah, that's a fantastic question, because we're not short selling. You can short crypto just like you short stocks. So I'm going to give a simplification here for most of you. Shorting is just flipping the chart upside down and saying, pay me as if it went down when it goes up, and pay me like when it goes up as if it goes down. So if you think something is overvalued, you take the opposite position of it and you short it. But that's just doing the same thing. You're trying to time the market. But instead of timing when it goes up, you're timing when it goes down. But the problem is still in the timing factor. I think catching a falling knife is easier than trying to time any market, especially the crypto market, but even the stock market. This is why a stock picking monkey throwing darts at the S&P 500 outperforms 94% of all the professional trading hedge fund managers that exist out there, because they can't time the market. And they're supposed to be the best of the best. And so we don't short anything. What we do is we do microtransactions. So when something goes down, it doesn't go straight down. It will wiggle its way down. So it'll go up a lot, even when it's going down at the micro level. So we capture that volatility by using automation to say, buy a little bit here and then set a sell order at a slightly higher percent than what you bought it for. Buy a little bit here, set a sell order at a slightly higher percent than what you bought it for. So whether it's wiggling up and down at the micro level, if you zoom in it very, very tightly and closely, it's always going up and down like this. And so you're buying and selling through automation, and that's how we're capturing the profit. But we're not shorting. We're holding it too, because we're buying a whole bunch of this crypto, and then we're taking that and allocating small, thin slices essentially to play this buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell game. The plan.vip/join, if you've bought into this concept and you want to run automations yourself, that's where you go to plan.vip/join. Will.
Yeah, Jason, you said earlier that it doesn't matter whether you put $3,000 or $10,000 or $100,000 or whatever in a bot.
It matters in the sense of the dollar figure return you would get, right?
Yeah. So to clarify that, let's just say that you put $10,000 in a bot, and the bot returns you 10% in whatever period of time. The period of time doesn't matter. $10,000, 10% is $1,000.
Yep.
Right. If you had put in $100,000 into that same bot, it would still return the same 10%. But 10% of $100,000 is $10,000, and that would be your profit. So the percentages are the same. The bots do not perform any better percentage-wise or return on investment-wise based upon the amount.
Amen.
The $3,000 is that sweet spot that Dan has figured out with a lot of testing and a lot of money that he's risked, where you increase profit potential and decrease risk. And it's that sweet balanced approach that will reduce your risk while increasing profit potential. So that's why we don't want you to put any less than $3,000 when you do start your own bot. When you start your bot is up to you, because you're going to run bots in demo mode. And demo mode works exactly the same as real mode where you're investing real money, except you don't risk any of your own money. And so Dan teaches everything in the course for you to use demo mode. And that's literally flipping a switch in the software, demo or real. And when you're ready, you can switch back to real. And by the way, you can always run demo modes at the same time you run real bots with real money. But it is up to you when you decide to actually invest, if you do decide at all to invest in real bots, right? But as you gain experience and practice in demo mode, you will see that sweet spot really makes a difference, because the software does allow you to start a bot with $50. However, it is not in your best interest. Now, for everybody here, I want you to answer this question, real easy question. Would you agree that we would sit here and sell more courses if we told everybody on this webinar that you could start a bot with just $50 instead of having to start a bot with $3,000? Okay, everybody says yes. A couple of people said no. Okay. I believe I would sell more courses. So 95% of you say yes, I would sell more courses if I would tell people that you could start a bot with $50. We would, because there's a lot of people that don't have that disposable $3,000 to invest in a bot. So if it's in my best, if I would sell more courses, it's in my best interest to tell you that you could start a bot with $50. Why don't I do it? Because it's not in your best interest, and we're watching your best interest. We need you to be successful. It is really important, not that we just sell you a course, but that you be successful and that you be set up to succeed. Because eventually we want to help you with other phases and have you buy other phases of the plan. And if we don't make you successful in phase 1, why would you ever buy phase 2 and 3 and 5 and 7? You're going to get phase 4 for free. So I'd love to be able to tell you that you can start a bot with $50 or $100. However, it is not in your best interest. And even though the software will allow you, we strongly discourage you from doing it. Jason, any other questions? I saw you.
Yeah, I got a personal one. This is for fun. We still got some money to give away. And then I have a couple other questions I want to hit on too. They asked about the painting behind me, this one over here, right? There's a lesson behind this. Everything I do in my environment, so this might help you, is cued to help me be at my best. And so that one, it's a Chagall lithograph from the Picasso sketchbook. It's a man and a wife. It's hard to see back there. But I put it in there because it reminds me, consider what isn't there, not just what is there, because it's using negative space from an artistic standpoint. So I want you to consider what isn't what we teach in the plan, namely moonshots. We are not telling you to pick the next hottest coin. In fact, part of Dan's formula of the plan is that the coin has to have certain existing time on the market to even consider running a bot with it. It's got to be out there. That's a safety first approach, because you know what happens with a lot of these new coins? Rug pulls. That's what happens. They get everybody super excited and eager on it, and then it seems like it's going to work. Oftentimes, the value of these new coins shoot up, and people try to sell them, and they learn they can't even sell them because they didn't realize they weren't playing with coins on the reputable blockchain market. They were playing with some other nonsense. These scams are quite sophisticated, and so that's why we only look at proven coins that have utility. What I mean by that is there's usefulness of the coin independent of its speculation or its possibility. And also typically massive large market caps. Like some of these coins that I'm in, at least, they have 2 billion to 10 billion diluted market cap, meaning they're pretty freaking big. And so that's a lesson to you, is what isn't there. What isn't here is we're not promising you gigantic, immediate, huge overnight returns. We are promising you nothing really other than a plan, which is better than what most people have when it comes to crypto, but with the focus on small daily wins. You ever heard the phrase, an inch by inch, it's a cinch? God, that's so true. You gobble up 20 cents here, 20 cents there, 20 cents there. It does add up very quickly. The journey of 1,000 steps begins with the first one. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step, however you want to swing it. And so that's how we do it. If you could repeatedly make $20 to $40 to $60 a day every time you set up an automation, and it only took you 5 minutes to set up an automation, how many would you set up? And the answer is as many as you had disposable cash to invest in that you felt comfortable deploying. That's the answer to that. And there's another quote. Quote goes like this: 80% of winning is showing up. You just got to show up. You don't have to hit a grand slam. You don't have to capture lightning in a bottle. You just got to be there with a plan. And most people don't. So if you're the person with one eye and everyone else is blind, you are now king. And that's kind of what we have going on here. The plan.vip/join. Wendy asks, other than the monthly fee for the software, is this sort of lifetime help once I'm a member? Yeah. Now let's caveat lifetime. Lifetime means as long as this plan is still valid, which we anticipate being many years, and you can log into the members area, we will support this product. Will and I have published products that are over 10 years old that we've supported for 10 plus years, for decade number 2. We plan on being here for a very long time. And by the way, the lifetime updates of the course too, as long as it's valid and as long as it's appropriate, which again, we don't anticipate it not being appropriate in any given horizon of time that doesn't extend into the very, very distant future. And so Dan will discover things that make sense to come back into phase 1 and update you with. If the software does change its interface or it adds a new feature or function, which happens from time to time, not as much as you would think, but occasionally, Dan will come in and he will show you that. Now, also, Dan does these fly on the wall sessions too with his trading partner, Tony. And they are always keeping you current on what's going on, what they're observing, what they're seeing. And so you get access to that as well. It's a fantastic question. What was the answer to the winning question? Yeah. Okay. The answer was do nothing. That's the strategy. The question was, once you get it bought up and running, what should you be doing 95% of the time? And the answer is do nothing. Now, I heard Dan earlier mention things about you can regrid, and that's in module 6 of the training program. You certainly can regrid. So sometimes people, they want to get back in range, especially in markets like this. So they'll go back and they'll regrid it. That's great. If that helps keep you going, then great. But I'm telling you, that's the rare exception. That is the edge case. Will and I started our exact same bots at the exact same time. Will and I literally started every single coin pair with the same position at the exact same time. And then it was about, I don't know the exact dates now because it was like a year ago. Will pings me about 40, 45 days later, something like that. And he says, how are your bots doing? And this is what I told him. And he couldn't believe it. I said, I don't know. And he goes, what do you mean you don't know? I said, I don't know. I haven't looked at them. And here's why I didn't look at them. Because I didn't want to be tempted to mess with them. Because if Dan told me to do nothing, I follow the rules. Until I know better, I follow the rules. And Will says, well, pull it up. How did you do? And I pulled it up. And I think I had made about $15,000, something like that. I can't remember exactly. I know it was more than Will, though. Will had done well. He did pretty good. I had done a little bit better, though. And the difference was I did nothing, 0%. And Will was like, okay, maybe I should tweak this coin and maybe I should do that with the grids. He didn't do a whole lot, mind you. But he did more than me. And he made a little less than me because he didn't do nothing.
Yeah, I turned 25,000 into 40. You turned 25,000 to 44.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so
And I gloat about it every single time. Too.
guess what I've been doing while this market has been down the past few months?
Nothing, right?
Nothing. I
Yeah.
learned that lesson really well. Like
Hey, listen,
literally
I have
nothing.
every bot right now. Let me pull it up just to verify this so I can be 100% accurate with you here. I have all these bots running right now. I have 9 bots running. 8 of them are out of range. They are. So that means right now my tenants are on vacation and they're not paying me rent. I'm doing nothing because I know if I can hang out and do nothing, it'll fix itself. I'm not going to know what to do that's better than what I've already set up. The one that's active, fantastic, cool. I'll capture the wiggle on that. It'll do whatever it does. It's done 4.61% in 1 month and 13 days. I like that. It's not that great of a bot. I've had probably 30 bots that have done better than that in that same period of time. It's a bad market, whatever. What are you going to do? But I know the rest will come back in range. Now, I've been to this rodeo before. So has Will now. Will's also been at the rodeo. And I've sat through coins for 9 months that I've ran for 9 months. Sometimes they go out of range. And then they go back in range. And I know that that's going to be more optimal for me in almost every scenario than trying to tweak with it. Now, here's what's really fun. After you do this for a couple months, then you get phase 4. Then there are times where you do not do nothing anymore because now you're empowered to take advantage of certain opportunities now that you have a baseline. Now, here's the funny thing. Will and I haven't really gone through phase 4 yet because it was just released and we've been in the middle of this launch. So we haven't had a chance to even learn those strategies. And so until you get phase 4, pretty much your best bet is to do nothing. Now, there will be times where some of you, you know who you are, will get a little antsy. And that's when Dan and Tony come in with their fly on the walls. That's when they come in and they console you and they say, no, you're doing the right thing. You're going to be okay. And then it's back to business as usual. Doing nothing is the feature here that we want you to be accustomed to, because a lot of you have business backgrounds. We know this because we teach typically business building activities. This is not a business. So when you hear like, oh, I got to set up something, you think you're going to work a lot of hours to set it up. You're going to work a lot more hours to maintain it. And then maybe it can be passive for a little bit of time. This is not that. This is nothing close to that. This is set it up in about 15 to 20 minutes the first time you do it, and then sit back and do nothing for almost the whole remainder of however long you want that bot to run. That's the difference. That is the complete difference between this and that. So doing nothing is the most valid strategy once the bot is up and running. To get the bot going, go to the plan.vip/join. Speaking of money, getting, money being made, let's give away some money.
Let's give away. What's the question?
All right. What is the question? I didn't have one planned this time. Okay,
All
I
right.
got one for you.
Did you learn anything new in this training today?
I got one for you, right?
Answer.
How many months of CoinPair research do you get for free if you sign up and join the plan? The plan.vip/join.
All right.
How many months do you get of that for free?
You can just type the number to make it faster for you to type.
Yeah, you can type one character. That's all you got to type.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a hint that is going to get you about 50 different coin automation settings. That's going to give you 50 bot opportunities that are handpicked and hand delivered for you. Now, this bonus is not on the page. So when you go to the plan.vip/join, you will not see the mention. So you can't cheat and look it up there. You had to be paying attention. How many months of CoinPair research?
You get a lot of interesting answers here, since there can't be a wrong answer. I mean, there is a right or wrong answer in this case for sure.
There is, but we'll give you the money even if you
get
get the wrong answer, just for participating. This is your participation trophy, right?
Yeah.
But it's funny how people don't remember, right, Will?
It is. It is funny how they don't remember. Well, maybe they don't. Maybe they want to remember something different, right?
Yeah. When my kids do that, the number goes down, not up.
Right. All right. I think it doesn't matter if you remember or not. Just type a number. Just type a number. It doesn't matter. It's not. You don't have to get it right to win. So Just remember, just do it once. Just do it once. If you're answering
Yeah, you
multiple
can't
times,
spam
like
it.
somebody's answering multiple times, you've just been disqualified.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Following
answer.
rules. See, we're training you to follow rules because that is the most important thing you have to do in the plan. They're simple rules like these are, but that's what you got to do.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Jason. I'm scrolling here. I'm within the range. Maybe I'm out of range. I don't know. I'm not looking.
And
Am I scrolling up
stop.
and down? Tom Howard. Now, Tom did not get the answer correct. The correct answer is 2 months, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. Tom still qualifies for the money. Tom Howard, you get 2 months of CPR. Everybody gets 2 months of CPR for free. But Tom, you have won $500. And Tom, if you would just Tom, nobody else, please. Tom Howard, if you would also give me your best email address and best phone number so we can contact you to deliver your $500. All right, one more, Jason. Do you want to ask another question or same pool?
Now let's draw it because then I want to break down a little bit more what coin pair research is
All right,
and then
tell me
circle
when to
back and
stop.
talk about phase 4 as a bonus too.
Tell me when to stop.
And stop.
And it stopped at Aaron Ow. Aaron Ow. And Aaron also did not quite get it correct, but that's okay. You get 2 months of CPR when you join today, Aaron. Aaron, if you would also give me your best phone number and best email address so we can contact you. And that's it on the cash giveaway. That's 5 people walked away with $500 just for showing up and answering a couple of simple questions. That's awesome.
And showing up the way we teach in the plan, I think, is the best way to go into the crypto market. Now, May 12th.
Let's talk about showing up. Let's talk about showing up.
Yeah, let's talk about showing up. Most people don't show up. I mean, even to their own funeral, I'd be curious if they would show up. It's weird because I understand not showing up because you're too afraid to get into something. And a lot of people sit on the sidelines and let great opportunity after great opportunity pass them by. So they've automatically disqualified themselves. They can't win. Okay. Now, other people, what they do is they show up like they show up on the gym on January 2nd of the year. They show up and they go hard. Like they put in the extra reps, they train like crazy. And then you know what happens when they wake up on January 3rd? Lactic acid is what happens. They are stiff, they are sore, they are miserable, they are pained, and then they step on the scale and they weigh exactly the same thing that they weighed yesterday. And then they look in the mirror and they look exactly the same way they looked yesterday. And you know what they do? They quit. I would quit too, because that wouldn't make sense. The reward wouldn't be worth the pain. But you know who makes the change? You know who ends up winning? Is the person that shows up to the gym and does a very moderate, a very light workout. And then they get a nice benefit from that. They wake up the next day and they feel better. So you know what they do? They go back to the gym and then a habit forms. And then it becomes harder to not go than it is to go. And that's what showing up is. That's why 80% of winning is showing up. Now, your bots are going to show up for you once you get them going. And they're just buying and selling a little bit every single day. They're not moonshotting it. They're not getting an 8x, an 8 bagger, as they would call them, an 8,000% return. They're not doing anything really that monumental. They are just programmatically buying a little bit here and then waiting for a buyer to buy it from them at a little bit higher price point. And then just trying to do that as many times as possible, because Dan realized and then taught us that volatility is not a disadvantage. Volatility can be a massive advantage if you design the right plan for it. And that's what he did. Now, his plan is really simple. It's almost too simple, which is why people sometimes don't show up for it, because they think it has to be some fancy thing with 5 screens and 26 technical indicators and Fibonacci sequences and all sorts of craziness. It doesn't. It's just a couple things. Now, he'll show you how to do this on your own. With coin pair research that you get 2 months for free, he also has the team go out and scout and find coins that meet the exact same criteria, following the exact same rules that he teaches you. And May 12th, 2022, 12:45 p.m. Pacific, This was the last one that was published. That was today. I logged into the members area and I took a look at it, right? And it was published. And here's how this works. You get the coin pairs, the exact coins that meet this criteria. And then it says, as long as the price of the top coin in this coin pair is within this range, this meets the plan's formula. If it isn't that price range, here's the grid you set. Here's the low price on the grid. Here's the upper price on the grid. Here is the wiggle rate that you set it at. And then you check this box. And then you're on. You can turn that bot on whenever you want to, as soon as you want to, immediately. Now, here's what's great about this. CPR or not, this coin pair research bonus that you're going to get about 50 of these settings over a 2-month period of time or not. You can see once you understand the formula, how easy it is to set up your own bot. You just pick the coin pair, you set a lower price, you set an upper price, you set a wiggle rate, you turn trailing up on, and then you go. That's it. Obviously, you select how much capital you want to put in there, and you select the exchange that you're on, and that's it. Then you go. That's why this is working so well for so many people in 130 countries. That's why we can feel so confident showing you this and offering this up to you in the worst possible time. And I'm not talking the worst time in crypto. The sky is falling everywhere, in every market. Nothing's making sense right now. This is making sense, though. And so this is why I can come out with every ounce of confidence, feeling as comfortable as can be in the element, and offer this up to you as an option for you to have a plan with your finances. And maybe this plays into that plan. What are you doing right now with your finances? And is it serving you? If it's not, maybe it's time to take a second look. Maybe it's time to educate yourself further. Dan is the best educator I've ever seen when it comes to crypto. What's funny is you're going to get like a 16-hour masterclass in crypto when you add up all the modules. And only like 4 hours of it has to do with the bots. That's the sizzle. But he also will give you an incredible foundation of all the different ins and outs. And it says safety first. He starts with a safety first situation. He focuses on safety. He thinks, let me give you one example of how he thinks about safety. If you were to pass on at some point in the future and you had a whole bunch of crypto, what would happen to your crypto? Well, if you're like most people right now, it would just disappear because nobody would know how to access your crypto and you wouldn't be able to pass it on to the next person, right? Didn't think about that probably, right? Dan thought about that, and he's prepared you for all sorts of events like this and all sorts of other little intricacies that you should be aware of. Now, you don't need to know them right away. You can get the bots going first and foremost, focus on that, get some cash flow. And while you're doing nothing, Dan's also going to educate you on some of the other things in the crypto world that are going to be helpful to you, that are going to empower you, that are also part of phase 1 of the plan here. The plan.vip/join. Well, any last words here as we wrap up, or any last things that we should address?
I would just say that if you have any questions or any problems signing up, or need to know more about anything, write to support@rapidcrush.com. That is support@rapidcrush.com. Or you can also go to the URL you see on the screen, the plan.vip/join. At the very, very bottom of that page, you will see a link to support in the footer of that web page. And just click on it and write to support, and you will start to experience right away the amazing support that we do provide. On that page, the plan.vip/join, take the time to go there. And I suggest you open up a web browser right now. And if the team could put the link in the chat so that folks can click on it, that'd be amazing. Go there right now, leave that page open so that you can see the timer on that page so you understand when this offer is going to expire. But also towards the bottom of that page, there's a frequently asked questions section. Extremely, extremely helpful for you to go through. It's going to answer a lot of detailed questions that you may have. I strongly suggest you go through that. So The best thing you can do right now is go to the plan.vip/join on a web browser and make sure that page is open. Other than that, Jason, great presentation. Dan, great Q&A session. Jason, I hope folks have gotten tremendous value out of this. Like you said, the world is kind of upside down right now in so many ways. And in my opinion, there couldn't be a better time to get into crypto than right now. While everybody else is saying that the sky is falling, we're seeing opportunity. So if you agree with it based on what you saw today, then join us and join Dan and allow him to be your coach in the plan.
Awesome, everyone. Support at rapidcrush.com if you need anything. We appreciate you and your time. We look forward to serving you further. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.